Welcome back to the Racial Draft Podcast. I am your host, Michael Ford, for another edition of Shenanigans. As we are still in our mid or off-season form, we have not yet started season 5 of the Racial Draft. That will be starting next month. So we're here, with a fun group, and we're just going to talk about the nerd news. I am joined by an illustrious cadre of guests. Starting
okay, college.
Starting with Stephanie from the Screen Sisters. Stephanie, what's up?
Hey, it's Stephanie. I'm here. I'm chilling. I'm doing homework, but I'm also not because I'm on this podcast. So okay. And it's Sunday.
It is
right?
Sunday.
All right, cool.
Maybe for the listeners, it might be another day, but it is Sunday for us as we record. We're also joined by the lovely and illustrious Julia Delbell. Julia, the smile just came in and lit up the room. It's amazing. Julia, how's it going?
I'm doing okay, thanks.
All right. We're also joined by returning champion, low key because there's nobody he can dunk on this week. That would be Carlos.
I'm not illustrious and
I have to conserve my adjectives, sir. How's it going?
I mean, it's going. I guess I'm not illustrious enough to be mentioned. My illustriosity is not enough to be mentioned. But other than that, I'm sitting here next to a stack of comics that I'm going to read tonight. Not all of them, but these are my comics.
Wow!
And some of them
physical comics on paper. That is amazing.
Yeah, the variants.
Wow.
Underbolt.
Woo!
Got some good ones.
No free ads. Sponsors. if you'd like your comic book talked about on screen, get at us at ads.
Yes, is nothing if not a free ad for Marvel.
Ads at the Racial Draft. We are also joined by the exuberant and the youthful Jared.
I understood youthful, but I don't understand exuberant.
Let the people know how you're doing.
I'm doing as well as a freshman could be doing in his third week of college.
Okay, all right. And last but not least,
the inimitable, the indubitable, the indelible, the inexorable.
Yes.
He brought his own adjectives. That's right. That's ingenuity for you.
That is.
Oh, and the ingenious. Exactly. Precise. Glad we're on the same page. Yes, nice. I'm feeling lovely today.
And the humble.
Yes. And we hope to be bringing this kind of energy into season 5 of the Racial Draft, but we are going to divert that energy into discussions of the couple weeks that we missed of nerd news. As you may know, last weekend was this weekend would have been D23, which was a celebration of all things Disney. If Mardi Gras had Mickey Mouse, it'd be Mickey Gras. I don't know, whatever. I didn't workshop it.
They had like a parade that felt kind of like Mardi Gras. I heard it didn't happen this year, and everyone was sad. But
well, I don't know if everyone saw the Mouseskeeteers ears with the dripping white
that's
thing on them. So
and they even said Minnie was dripping with excitement in the description.
Yeah, someone had a lot of fun with the copy. I mean, we can work something out as a prize for listeners and champions. So
someone commented on that Minnie Mouse thing, like, whose excitement is she dripping with?
I'm not sure I want to win that as a prize. Honestly.
Was that Ben Shapiro who was confused?
Disgusting.
But so yeah, we will save the D23 shenanigans for the end. But let's talk about non-Disney. Sometimes sad, sometimes happy. But we'll start with the sad. Turns out Dan Lin, who we talked about in the last show, as going to be DC's Kevin Feige,
Oh
decided
yeah.
he decided actually maybe not. Maybe not. Dan Lin turned down the offer to head up DC Studios, the slate of movies and films based on DC properties. A lot of it did come down to the finances, as he does have a deal at Universal, and he had to have his production company bought out, and they couldn't come together for a price to buy out his company to get him exclusive to Warner's. So because of that, he's decided he's not going to take the job, and David Zaslav's search for the new Kevin Feige continues. Anyone have any fun thoughts about losing out on Dan Lin?
I don't know in particular about Dan Lin. But what I will say is, I kind of like am sort of happy for the people who sort of pass up on this opportunity. Honestly, like right now they have a lot of like goodwill to try to rebuild up, and their fandom is not very easily satisfied. And like on top of the fandom not really being easily satisfied, there's a lot of like the technical stuff that they have to deal with, which is like, not is not pretty at the moment. So I like the buying out of his production company. I'm not exactly sure why he would have felt like that was a thing that possibly could happen anyway. Like currently right now their finances are like not awesome, so they're not looking for new things to buy. So I mean, I kind of like it didn't seem, when they kind of mentioned all of the technicality of it, it's like, oh, okay, I can see why that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fault him for driving a hard bargain. I mean, one of the things that I had said, one of the things that I had said a couple of weeks ago when this news started to break is that the people who are qualified to take on this undertaking, to right the ship, if you will, in the DC media properties, are probably have a track record of success that makes their price tag high, because of the fact that they have run other successful productions and maybe potentially currently are running successful productions. So in order to get those people under your umbrella, you're going to have to be prepared to pay. And, that ends up being the complication, because, a lot of people throw out these names of people, and it's like, well, are they going to just cut a gigantic check to bring these people on?
You want a Kevin Feige, but you got Kevin Feige money. Like, yeah, basically, you want to try to get to put it out there.
Right. It's like Marvel got Kevin Feige when nobody knew who Kevin Feige was.
Yep.
If anyone wanted Kevin Feige now, the price of the brick went up. You know what I mean? So ultimately, I think what may happen is that they're going to probably end up settling for someone that we don't know. Someone that's not a big name, that is hungry and wants to prove themselves, and hopefully that person has the chops.
Builds up that right.
All the chops.
Because the alternative would be something that we definitely don't want, which is someone who has a big name and is just looking for a check, and is like, oh, I've got them over a barrel, and I'm gonna come in and I really don't have what it takes, but I have a big enough name that it can win the press conference. Exactly. It's like, hey, we brought in this guy, because let's be honest, it's probably gonna be a guy. Yeah, we brought in Michael Bay to handle DC.
I would be dead. Absolutely dead. I would be dead.
I mean, this is I feel like this is a door we don't want to walk down, but it's a pathway that is still potentially in front of us.
At the next
Right,
Comic-Con, fans, we have heard you. Welcome out. Welcome out, Mick G, the new head of DC.
Now I feel like we're gonna see that on the Twitter timeline as like a jump scare. Somebody does like a parody news account, this busing news or whatever, and then they're like, yeah, this is what's gonna happen now.
Yes, and of course the link doesn't work.
The other option for them though isn't like it's not like a big name that maybe is more name than substance, or going and getting another Kevin Feige type. The other thing would be to promote from within someone who is lower on the ladder that you can basically promote for cheaper.
Yeah, but the problem with promoting from within in a corporation that just got acquired is that everyone's been updating their resume, and everyone assumes that not assumes, there have been cuts, and right. People want off of the sinking ship, and then they just pushed Walter Hamada out the door. So if you were in there and you saw how dysfunctional things are, you're probably the last person that wants to jump in and say that you can right the ship.
Okay, so like learning the lessons of the last presidential administration, there is an endless supply of mediocre people who will never get this chance again and will take the promotion. Like there just will always be the people who are like, I'm never going to get the chance to be.
There will never be a shortage of
anything.
Ever, ever, ever.
Right, but I feel like those are generally people.
Say?
I said there will never be a shortage of mediocre white boys. Never, ever.
Oh no, I mean for sure. There's a whole assembly line. It's like that. It's like that one scene of I Love Lucy with the candies. Like we think we're pulling them off of the assembly line, but it's just accelerating.
Yeah.
I agree. But I mean, I hear that, but I also think that this position in particular comes with so much scrutiny that I think that there were people who would love to be the vice president under that regime, where people don't know their names, but there's going to be big splashy headlines. Again, look at David Zaslav. David Zaslav was a successful executive for years, and nobody knew his name. And in 2 months, everybody on Twitter is like, David motherfucking Zaslav.
Yeah, for real.
So I pose the question here. How likely now, especially relative to before when he was running Arrowverse, are we now like worrying about the likelihood of a what's his name, Guggenheim or whoever that was?
You mean like one of the Berlanti seconds in command
or
whatever?
What is the likelihood of that now? That
so
sounds like
I can't remember which was the one that got kind of like run out because of the sexual harassment.
Right. That's I don't remember. That's why I'm asking you the question.
I feel like whoever the one was that was run out because of sexual harassment, like he might resurface, but whichever one was like not, that was like, I'm good. I don't, subject young actresses to, bad attention. Like that person is probably moving on to bigger and better things, but the person that can say that they were associated with the Arrowverse in the early days, but then pay no attention to the second and third pages of my CV. Like, I mean, it could happen. I think the downside though for them is that there's still a little bit of a little brother syndrome when it comes to television versus movies. It helps to have some movie experience if you're going to run a movie studio, and you're going to have to present that you can deliver at least a hit movie. That your IMDb doesn't just have TV. So I think that's probably one of the things. I mean, Berlanti's a different example because I think Berlanti actually does have some movies in addition to his highly successful television empire. But some of his lieutenants probably don't have the movie credits. But
I would back up the Brinks truck for Victoria Alonso from Marvel.
But if you're Victoria Alonso, like there's probably more, especially because isn't she either married to or related to Axel Alonso, who was a longtime Marvel executive? You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's enough like long-term experience in Marvel that they would take care of her. And I don't think she wants those. I don't think she wants those problems. I don't think anyone who's been in a well-run organization
would jump over to the problematic side.
Yeah, I don't. Again, we just talked about how they would not overpay for Dan Lin. I would think they'd need to overpay for any Disney / Marvel executive.
They will have to. Yeah.
Now one person that sort of crossed my mind, because he's kind of like in a little bit of the outs right now, is Neil Boritz, who. Oh, sorry. I thought that was a recognition cough.
No, no. Every time I cough, my niece and nephew think I'm dying, so I was looking at them.
Oh, it's like the timing of that cough though was like, it's like, do you know Neil Boritz? So you might know him from a little franchise called The Fast and the Furious.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I understand. But he actually kind of got pushed out of that franchise. He still got some production credit, but he's the creator of the franchise, but he's no longer as associated with it than some of the other people in the family. So I think that he's probably in a position to come over with the resume and have a little bit to prove, but he's not as shiny and glossy as some of the other people that have come up. So, we'll see. Like, especially with the hierarchy of power on the verge of changing. I would imagine that he might have something in common with said hierarchy power changer. But that's just kind of where my head is at.
I mean, Vince McMahon just retired, right?
So, whoa. Too much.
Too far.
All right, final word on DC, and their struggles to find a head of creative. Next. More DC news. I'll try to keep it more on the positive side, I suppose. Harley Quinn is back. Well, Harley Quinn is back currently.
Well, yeah.
But they were renewed for season 4. So we're gonna get more Harley. Is everyone watching Harley?
I'm not.
I'm behind.
I mean, I want to watch, but like I'm horrible at watching TV and like keeping my attention on TV. So like it's
Wait, so you've not seen it at all? Is what I'm hearing.
I have not seen an episode. No.
Wow. I mean, as someone who generally doesn't like Bat stuff, I would say that this is probably the best of the Bat stuff.
No, I fully like got the impression of that because like just sort of the little snippets and clips I've seen here and there of them mocking the Bat family. I feel like yes, this is a show that's up my alley, and also we get to see Poison Ivy be great. So, but yes, I am behind on everything.
Well, I don't think Harley Quinn is in any danger of being removed from HBO Max anytime soon. So you can probably hold off a little bit, but she'd probably get current. But we don't know how long it's going to take. I don't remember the turnaround between season 2 and season 3. I want to say it was about a year. So one thing that has changed though is they are going to have a new showrunner for season 4, and I believe the first female showrunner, and Sarah Peters, she was a writer, so she's just kind of taking over as the main showrunner. So good on the show for finally having a female showrunner. You would have thought they would have had one by now. Any further thoughts about Harley Quinn? Okay. I'm gonna start doing this Socratic method style, guys. I'm gonna start calling on you and then force you to give me your thoughts, but not yet. But not yet.
I don't talk. I don't have thoughts.
Okay, you're like that
What?
professor in school
I
who
will
put
let you
everyone's
know.
name in like the popsicle sticks and you just like pull them out.
I
And you're just
try.
like, so and so, give me the answer to number 7.
Well,
I try to refrain from giving a take unless I think it's worth giving.
okay, fair. Well, listen. Those of you who are longtime listeners remember our infamous. Remember our infamous. There's a lot of background noise. I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from. Got it. Sorry, listeners. There was a whole conference happening. There was a meeting in someone's bedroom. That's what I heard. But who can forget, longtime listeners, our infamous Fandome episode where we made incessant jokes about Fandome. And unfortunately, this year we will not be making any Fandome jokes. Because
we will absolutely be making some Fandome jokes. Even though we are not getting a Fandome, I think that's all the more reason to double down on making Fandome jokes.
I was waiting for just the unfurling of the largest possible expression of fandom that has ever been seen. Like we said before, I for one might have been dripping with anticipation for Fandom 2022, but alas, it was disappointing. It was a disappointing showing. It was a grow. No, it didn't show. It didn't grow. Fandom, very flaccid. We're all disappointed the lack of Fandom. A lot of it has to do with the fact that the Warner Brothers Discovery is just not packing what they need to be packing in order to give us the fandom that we've grown accustomed to. But they could have put forth a perfunctory effort to at least, I don't know.
I mean, it's we every once in a while we all experience a little premature presentation. Mm-hmm. So it's we got to move on. It's cool.
Wow. Man, this horse is so dead, but you guys you're just beating it. Beating that horse.
Look, I mean, I had a whole notebook of fandom puns that I was ready to let fly. And
I hate you all. I really do. I'm so tired.
So maybe 2023 we will get the massive fandom that we were promised.
How much money do you guys think it costs to put on Fandome?
More than WBD is willing to put forth right now. Like they don't even. I mean, because like you have a lot that's in question. Just like on a serious note, you have a lot that's in question. So for you to try to say, yeah, we got this show that's happening, this movie that's happening, blah blah blah, and then for that not to happen, like that's a lot of wasted effort.
Yeah. And, plus you have to account for the person that's making sure that Ezra Miller doesn't commit any crimes on camera. So
on camera,
that's its own expense,
like, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
But no, I mean, in all seriousness, like I think that we just saw how like D23 turned into like this whole orgy of fandom. I would imagine that if they had a head, if DC had a head worth displaying, that, that they would make that the centerpiece of their fandom. But until they do, then it's probably not worth it to show off all that they're offering.
I mean,
But
they do have The Rock. He's got a pretty nice head. I mean,
yeah, but listen, the Rock is he's out there. He was just out there touting Black Adam the kickoff NFL kickoff weekend. Like that's probably. And
like he does that unprompted.
Yeah.
Speaking of if Black Adam bombs, we need to watch out for The Rock. Like it will not go well because this is all he's been doing for the past.
I feel like
I think the opposite is true. This is not all that he's been doing. He's got an NBC show still. He's
but he's not pushing his NBC show like he's pushing this. Like it's like this. What is he going to talk about after the movie comes out? He's not going to like.
I feel like whether the movie is good or bad, we're going to be hearing The Rock talk about Black Adam for the rest of his life. Like that's it. We've hit the point previous to Black Adam and the point post Black Adam, and that like we're at the nexus right now.
So now's a good time. This was not on the docket, so that's my apologies. Has everyone seen the Black Adam trailer?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep.
I don't remember what was in it, but yeah, I saw it. Like that's how memorable it was to me.
That's the one. Yeah, that's it.
Wow, I actually thought this trailer was better than the last one.
Definitely.
Yes, but again, that's not saying a whole lot.
I think that the response to the trailer was generally positive, and it generally, even people who were a little bit more skeptical on the movie were like, okay, I could see going to see this movie.
I will at least say that I retain my previous level of excitement, which was good for everybody except for Teth Adam. So
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I also think the movie did a good job of saying, like, hey, if you're bored by The Rock, there's like other stuff in this movie that might actually excite you.
Right.
I love the fact that, so like, a little inside baseball, I had been spoiled on the idea that Amanda Waller was going to be in the post-credit scene of this movie. But it looks like she's not just going to be in the post-credit scene. They put her in the trailer. So they did some reshoots, and they, took one of my early pieces of advice, which was make Amanda Waller your Nick Fury, your connective tissue for this universe.
Which she should have been from the get-go. Yes, exactly.
Yes. So the fact that they put her out front and center to be like, hey, there's this superhero guy, who's trying to change the hierarchy of power. I'm the hierarchy of power, so I'm going to have to ask you to intervene on my behalf. I mean, I thought that was useful, that was good. Some people made some jokes about how clearly the Justice Society has a mansion that they borrow from Charles Xavier, the previous owners.
It's kind of yeah.
It's like oh whoa! It's like look, Zillow tells me we need a jet in the that's embedded in the lawn. It was nice of him to build that for us.
I wonder if that superhero layer was listed in the listings that Shazam and Freddy were looking for, like the. No, nobody got the reference. Okay.
No, I got the reference. I was just trying to figure out an entree into a joke of my own, but I couldn't get one. But like, no, I mean, listen, we could do the thing where we say that like each of the characters is like a variant of a Marvel character, but like, I don't know. I mean, it seems cool enough, like I like Pierce Brosnan, right? Like he's more, if we're being honest here, as much as he's DC's Grand Wizard, he is also more zaddy than Doctor Strange. Like if we're being objective here,
you will never get me to utter that phrase. I guarantee that. But what I will say is, I think their power sets are like distinct enough. Like, I guess the combination of their power sets. I'll put it that way. Like, you don't have, of course, if you want to try to like look for matches, it's like, oh, okay, well, Ant-Man can grow to giant size like Adam's. Like, okay, fine, sure, but that combination of the character dynamics is not the same. And you know, again, I'm excited for everybody there except for Teth Adam, who's
Wait, we lost you. You see, the hierarchy of your connection was changed.
Am I back? Am I back?
You're back.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so basically, I'm excited for everybody there. Like, we get the JSA movie popping. Hopefully, we can hopefully get a Hawkman movie to happen. Dr. Fate possibly get his own thing. Like, so I'm always looking ahead to kind of the folks that I'm really excited for, rather than necessarily this movie, because I don't really care about Teth Adam. Not the Rock's fault. It's feeling.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
yeah.
Sorry. I mean, I hear all of that. I just think that if a movie, like, they've had so many struggles for like good movies, that one that just like hits its marks and just does what it's supposed to do would be a win.
Well, I mean, genuinely, like, they kind of have to start off from just like one that's okay. Anything beyond okay is like a win, as you say, because yeah, we've had sort of a hit and miss record of that, and it would be nice to consistently not have to worry about whether it's going to be a hit or a miss.
Yeah.
So,
Like Carlos, I remember it was I want to say it was like about a month ago that you asked the question, is there a Marvel superhero who was introduced that was played by a bigger star or as big of a star as The Rock? Would you like to expound on that question that you asked just before we tackle it one by one?
Yeah, so Marvel has kind of gone about the casting of their cinematic universe in a way of like either actors who are either maybe past their prime, or actors who are not at their peak of their popularity. Like Robert Downey Jr. was a big name, but at the time that he was cast to play Tony Stark,
his stock was way down.
It was way down. And so we've talked about it on the chats and stuff, like, who is the biggest star to have been cast, introduced into the MCU? Like
Benedict Cumberbatch, I think.
I think that was the answer that we arrived at.
So wait, hold on. You're saying Benedict Cumberbatch, and that's valid, but I would argue Samuel L. Jackson. Like,
well, right, but the difference is that Samuel L. Jackson was brought in to be like not the star of any movie. He was brought in to help usher the other movies into, like, he was again the connective tissue, like we said before. Like, he was there to pop up in the other movies and say, hey, yeah, we're doing something. We're building something in the hierarchy of power in the
I'm actually pretty firm on it being Paul Rudd. I do think he's.
You think that you think that Paul Rudd is a bigger star than Benedict Cumberbatch?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
So
Cumberbatch
big surprise. The white person chooses the white person.
The white Jew chooses exactly.
Respect the Jewish delegation, Randy.
I was about to say no. Hold on, because I was about to say Julia says the white guy. I say the black guy. and then Jared says the
Carlos, would you like to?
I thought of another one, although I'm pretty sure she's white too.
My argument.
No, do it. We're doing
Angelina Jolie, or is she kind of past a little bit?
Wait, who is this?
Angelina Jolie, Eternals.
Yeah, but she's not like spoilers for Eternals. She's not playing a major role in.
Yeah, so Carlos, would you like to posit Salma Hayek?
That's Salma Hayek.
I would also argue Salma Hayek's
No, Salma Hayek died. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about Angelina Jolie in Eternals.
Yeah, but Angelina
also
Jolie
argue-
also didn't make it out of the movie
I
alive.
mean,
Yeah, she did.
She's alive. Like, I mean, her. Wait.
Yeah, she's one of the kidnapped ones at the end.
Yeah,
I
her,
think she's on the plane, the little triangle, the domo.
No,
her-
she didn't
her-
make it.
her
But she-
mind didn't quite.
Oh my
Make
god!
it.
Yes, she but
Gilgamesh didn't make it.
Really
She makes it.
to die.
She's with
I
Kameo.
forgot what
Hayek
happened. So I.
much, and kind of Icarus Richard Madden, he flew in the sun, and that's kind of it. And Sprite lost her powers, but the rest of them are alive.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
true. Angelina Jolie is with Kameo and whoever else.
So I think the point here is that we are all due for a rewatch of Eternal.
Clearly, I thought that she sacrificed herself in order to kill Crow.
Right. To
No,
get
wait
the Crow.
until they survive.
Oh wow, okay.
I was gonna say that it's Oscar Isaac, but that's just me being.
Do it.
I think he's on the right. I think he's getting a little higher up and up still. Like I think he hasn't reached his peak yet.
No, I think Oscar Isaac is. I actually do think Oscar Isaac is a huge star, but I just think that because he's like in the movie, not in the movies yet, like he's still kind of like
That's a big movies yet, but at the time he was cast, the time that they brought him in to play Moon Knight, he had been in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He had been nominated for Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
It seems from a marriage, which is about the same time the marriage.
Yeah, like people know his name.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
I mean, he was already he was already a meme from Ex Machina. Like it's
Okay.
I still say Benedict Cumberbatch, but also that might be because I was on like Tumblr at the time and everyone was just like talking about that guy. I mean, it's all, like he was like one of the key guys on Tumblr because of Sherlock.
Yeah.
No, I remember making the argument when people were talking about who was going to play Doctor Strange, and this had been before anyone knew what was going to happen in Endgame, and my big argument is that like they wanted to create another Tony Stark, but they needed someone like who could immediately show up and be at Tony Stark's level, as opposed to someone who they could build up because they didn't have the time to build them up. So it made sense in my logic that Benedict Cumberbatch, who at the time was coming off of Sherlock and had been nominated for an Oscar, was like, and it was already the villain in the Star Trek movie, that he was a big enough name that they could just bring him in and people would just buy him as at the same tier as Iron Man, despite the fact that Iron Man had been the focal point of the storytelling for at that point, I guess like 10 years, So like, I agree that, especially if you think about going back to even Doctor Strange, that's one of the few movies that didn't rely on bringing in a character, a more established character to usher in the other one. Most of the time the formula is like you introduce this character in another movie and then you let him kind of like hobnob with the other characters, or her hobnob with the other characters, and then you put the character in his or her own movie.
That only started around like it started around phase 3 kind of, because like they brought Ant-Man in with no one else, they brought Guardians in with no one else.
Yeah, but
they didn't bring in Black Widow. Nick
Wait,
Fury.
what about ScarJo?
But
and
Scar
she's not white.
So yeah, so I guess that kind
but remember, by the time ScarJo got her own movie, she was dead.
Yeah, so I didn't count that. But like
Avengers is kind of
really the first time they're like, okay, here's these characters, now they're gonna get their own movie, and that was phase 3, and now that's kind of the norm. Because now, like, we're gonna have Ironheart before she gets her series. Ms. Marvel, they kind of do the opposite. She's doing series and movie. We're doing who else? I know there's people.
I mean, there was a big example of both Spider-Man and Black Panther in Civil War.
Now seeing Namor in Black Panther.
Yelena in Black Widow.
Now, and she was in Black Widow.
And Red Guardian.
Red Guardian.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little later. We'll get into that a little later when we get into
D23. You could even kind of make that argument for Sam Wilson.
You
Oh, yeah,
definitely
totally.
You definitely can make the argument in Stamp. That's what I'm
I mean,
saying. Like,
Oh, Julia,
all-
thank you.
crossing racial lines in order to make.
I don't know if they decided who's going to be the next cap though at the point where they're introducing him. I don't know if he was supposed to or not. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying intentionally introduce
Right.
things like that's why I said like Yelena and some other people and Ironheart, another one.
Exactly.
So it's a series
And ultimately it has been a successful formula of
Sure.
these are movies that we know people are going to see, and
Right.
we're going to introduce this character in this movie as a supporting character,
Yeah.
and then see whether people respond to them positively before we give them their own solo project. Another example of
I honestly
one.
feel like it also benefits the movies because we don't have to go through the whole basic like origin thing a lot of the time with them.
Yep.
Mhm.
Kind of know them already. Like we don't do this whole like we can just kind of have a movie, but I'm almost like it's like a 1.5.
Mhm.
Nice because the origin movie kind of gets formulas kind of.
Yeah.
One counter example, I suppose, would be Shang-Chi.
Captain Marvel. Infinity War does not count for Captain.
No, it doesn't. But I'm saying like in the current phase, like I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked that we haven't seen Shang-Chi in anything, or at least even
came out of nowhere. Like it's like here's Moon Knight. I don't know how he connects to the rest of it. He is.
Right, to the point that people were like, "Is Moon Knight even in the same universe?" But I'm hoping that we'll find out soon where we'll see Moon Knight next. So it's not just this kind of standalone project.
Rumor is it's gonna be him and Captain America.
Oh gosh, I hope he shows up in Blade. I would prefer.
I don't know if he's in Captain America, but it's gonna be him and Captain America doing something together.
By Captain America, you mean Sam Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely get into that later when we talk about some of the D23 reveals. I'm not sure how we got here, but let's go on and talk about.
We were talking about how Black Adam is going to be a backdoor pilot for the entire DC universe or something.
Yes. Thank you for bringing us back to speed. Yeah, I mean, as much as people want to make their jokes, if the hierarchy of power does in fact change, then it is important that the movie and that The Rock step up as the promo guy, the hype man, if you will, for the other projects that are coming. And I mean, he's a big enough star that I don't think people would dislike it. I think people find it weird because they're like, Black Adam's not even a character that is on anyone's like B or D or C list, but for the fact that it's played by The Rock. So as we actually get to characters that are on people's B, C, and D lists, how's that going to work?
I mean, it's not gonna take long because like we have people right now standing Homelander. Like, I mean, that's so we're gonna like it's not gonna take long to be like, oh yeah, this tortured, edgy person who like enjoys violence and magic and lightning and stuff. Like, okay, fine, cool.
Randy, I don't know if you know this, but he was a slave.
What I mean, but my point is that he is a character who kind of represents sort of the edgier side of the power fantasy. Like he's
for sure.
The sort of Superman gone bad or Homelander person. Obviously not to that extreme, morally, but he is that kind of character in that way that it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot to kind of be like, yeah, he's pretty freaking cool. I can imagine him getting more movies and appearing in other things, and also being like the jumping off point for the JSA and what have you.
So. And to the extent that there are anti-heroes and people like anti-heroes, like the idea of someone who's kind of in the gray.
Right.
He's not as old school black and white morality as a Superman or as
Right.
a those kind of like tried and true characters. There's a certain amount of flexibility they have for him, with the stories that they could tell, but the movie has to be good first,
Right.
and then
Exactly.
people have to want to see more of Black Adam and other stuff. And listen, The Rock will find a way to shoehorn himself into these movies. So
Yeah.
but
he shoehorned himself into his own post-credit scene in
in Super Pets.
Yeah.
Exactly. So who knows? Maybe when we get a Flash post credit scene, the hierarchy of lightning will change. And
I'm just saying, Hawkman is right there. Dr. Fate is right there, and two members of obviously Dr. Fate and Hawkman are also part of the JSA, but you got Atom Smasher and Cyclone who are part of the JSA. So like you have a lot there that can build off of the characters that he brought in. They're not just like specific only to Black Adam and kind of like a weird shoehorn thing of trying to make a spinoff from them. They're already built into that.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You got like no less than 6 backdoor pilots within Black Adam.
For sure. And again, the connection to Amanda Waller means that you could potentially have a tease of Black Adam versus Peacemaker, and who wouldn't want to see that? Pro wrestling fans. But staying in the realm of DC, DC television, we'll talk about. It appears that we have a new Jonathan Kent. I don't know if you remember the story that we lost our old Jonathan Kent on Superman and Lois, but Michael Bishop, whose work I am wholly unfamiliar with, will now be playing Jonathan Kent. Randy, I know you're a fan of the Superman and Lois show, so what are your thoughts about the new Jonathan Kent?
I hope this new person is good. Like, I mean, I also am unfamiliar with his body of work. And it's I guess I can be a little bit happier that his hair is slightly darker. I mean, he's playing John Kent, so yay, John Kent has dark hair. But other than that, I have no idea.
We also got another piece of Superman and Lois news. This one I'm going to also ask you about because we now know potentially the big bad of season 3, and it's our old friend, well, the actor, Chad Coleman, who you might know from The Wire. You also might know him from The Walking Dead. He will be playing. Expanse. I have not watched The Expanse, but I believe he played the same role in Arrow, but maybe not. Bruno Mannheim from Intergang. Randy,
I forget what role he played on Arrow, but I do know that he played like a gangster criminal type.
Oh yes, you're right. He played Tobias Church. My apologies. A different gangster. So
right. So I've seen a little bit of typecasting there. Gonna try
Black man playing a gangster. Wow.
Gonna try not to take that one personally, but I mean, he at least this one is like not an OC. He's like an actual character from the comics. So I mean, Intergang. We know Intergang is like a big thing, and Bruno Mannheim. And so okay, fine, sure. I'm on board.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. I mean, again, taking things in the purview of the racial draft. This is definitely a character that has generally been depicted as a white man. So this will be a race bending of the character. But I mean, I've been a fan of Superman and Lois thus far, and I am a fan of Chad Coleman as an actor. So I'm very curious to see the direction that this goes.
Just don't expect me to draft him this season coming up for the draft. Like, no.
Oh, I mean, listen.
The Whites can keep him. I'm good.
These are things that I throw out there for you to consider, especially if this character ends up being really popular. But I'm not saying that he should be a first round draft pick in any way, shape, or form. But you know,
I'll give it consideration for the supplemental.
the keeper draft, if you will. Any other thoughts about Chad Coleman and or Bruno Mannheim? I will take that as a no. That I think is our final bit. Nope. Brand new news. Go ahead.
Oh wait, I just wanted to say in our small like DC window that I didn't know that Titus Welliver was playing Lex Luthor.
Oh,
I think I like.
Way to
knew that.
Way to
but
jump
then, like,
on. Way to jump on
but
my
then
story.
like I kind of.
Way to jump on my story, which I was just about to announce, which is that Titus
Oh,
Welliver
I'm so
will
sorry.
be playing Lex Luthor in the upcoming season of Titans.
I helped.
So, Stephanie, would you like to tell us about your thoughts about Titus Welliver playing Lex Luthor in the upcoming season of Titans?
I love Titus Welliver. I don't know how I missed this news. I don't know. I must have been like on crack that day.
I think the news was announced
today. Yeah.
Oh, so it was today?
It was yes.
Okay. So I didn't know that. And then when I saw the picture that you sent in the group chat, I was just like, hold on. So I went back and I was just like, is that him with the shaved head and the beard? Because I couldn't recognize him.
I admit I could not recognize. I was like, is that a different Titus Welliver?
No. I'm excited. I don't know too much. I started reading Marvel comics before I started reading DC comics. So, and of course, I watch more Marvel than DC because I feel like DC is just, we all have had these conversations about the differences. Yes. So we know, but yeah, I was shocked because again, I like to know things before they happen. So I was really like mad at myself for not knowing, but then I guess if it wasn't known, then I'm fine. But yeah, I really like Titus Welliver. He was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then he did, and what else was he in? Wasn't he on one of those Marvel one-shots too?
I think he was playing the same character.
But
he was also, very major.
And he was on
Lost.
He was on Sons of Anarchy too, right?
Was he on Sons of Anarchy?
Did any of you watch Sons of Anarchy?
I did watch Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
The problem with Titus Welliver is that he's so good at being a villain that you kind of just imagine him in everything as a villain.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, wasn't he the lead on that show? Was it Bosch?
Oh, he still is. If Bosch is still on, then he is the lead on that.
I'm right. He played Jimmy on Sons of Anarchy. He was on Lost.
Yeah, he was the big bad on Lost.
And you're right, he was Bosch.
Or is Bosch, right? No? Okay.
I have no idea.
Well, I never watched it.
I hear that people in my generation and slightly older love Bosch, which is probably why I haven't started watching it, because I don't want to be cliche. But he's going to be playing Lex Luthor. I think that he's got there's a whole hierarchy of, not that hierarchy that's about to change, but there's a hierarchy of people who play Lex Luthor, and I'm very curious to see where he stacks up in comparison to the other television and or movie Lexes. But hopefully he does well. We will move on though, because we should. I think that was our last DC bit of news. Nope. We have to talk about Joker, guys.
No, we don't.
Do we have to?
Very
briefly.
Sure.
There were two bits of casting news for the Joker sequel that I will very quickly run through because we don't know who they'll be playing. One is Brendan Gleeson, and one is Catherine Keener.
And
Carlos.
I missed both of that. Who?
Catherine Keener and Brendan Gleeson.
Where are they? Oh, they're both going to be in the new Joker?
They're both going to be in a new Joker movie.
Damn. Okay.
We don't know who they're going to be playing. But
there's a rumor that Gleason was like a dude at Arkham, like a guard.
Yeah, I think both of the rumors are that they're playing people in Arkham. And
Sexy.
who knows? But given that the rumor is that they're going to be based in Arkham, I kind of feel like that makes sense, right?
I
It's
mean, people in Arkham, like, does that mean? What does that even mean?
Yeah,
Does
that casts a wide net. It's like,
right?
are you gonna be playing a psychiatrist, or are you gonna be playing a criminal? We don't know yet.
But even if you're playing a psychiatrist or a criminal, like, it doesn't really matter unless you're playing like a name. Like, yes, okay, a psychiatrist, but are you playing Hugo Strange or just another person? Like, who? I mean,
If I
it's fine.
may,
Okay.
Catherine Keener would be a lot of fun as like a gender swapped Hugo Strange or Jonathan Crane after
Ooh.
Get Out. That would be amazing.
Okay. All right.
Into that.
All right. Well, now you've ruined us for when we find out that she's playing orderly number 7. It was like, oh, you could have been Jonathan Crane. Yeah.
Gillian Crane and what's the female of
female equivalent of Hugo? That's a
Hugo.
Helga Strange.
Helga Strange.
Hopefully, there is no female equivalent of Hugo.
I like it.
And yes, so I think we finally cleared out our DCQ, and now we can talk about some dragon shit. The Duel of the Dragons is what I'm calling it, between Lord of the Rings, even though there may not be dragons in Lord of the Rings, but other than Smaug. But Duel of the Dragons, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power getting review bombed. Shocked that they're being review bombed because they have a female lead and people of color in it. So that has caused Amazon to change its the way that it goes about accepting fan scores. 72-hour delay between when reviews get posted now, in order to deal with some of the review bombing and the trolling that happens. It also got 25 million global viewers for its debut, which was higher than the House of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the Duel of the Dragons continues as these two fantasy shows go head to head. Speaking of the other side of the Duel of the Dragons, House of the Dragons, one of the showrunners has already left. Miguel Sapochnik is leaving House of the Dragons. He's taking on additional duties behind the scenes. I think he will probably be helping some of the other Game of Thrones spinoffs take flight, if you will. And but yes, this was reported a couple weeks ago. The Alan Taylor, who you might know from the Thor: Dark World and other episodes of Game of Thrones, will be taking on the co-showrunner duties in the House of the Dragon. So stay tuned for that as the Duel of the Dragons continues. But that's not what we were here for, guys. We are here for Marvel news. And before we get into our D23 Marvel news, we have to talk a little bit about the pre-D23 Marvel news. And some of that includes some casting news from Ironheart, another role that we don't know who's being played. And that would be Regan Aaliyah joining Ironheart cast. Any thoughts about Regan Aaliyah? I'm not familiar with the actress.
I don't know her, but
okay.
I'm interested generally, I'll say, just with the fact that we kind of got we have the Hood being cast, and we also got
don't spoil it.
Well, I'll say we got one character that makes me feel that there is an adaptation that's going to happen for a comic, her solo comic. basically.
Okay.
I get the impression that we're gonna like lean into some version of that comic that was written by Ewing.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and the other piece of
generally,
casting.
go
No,
ahead,
before
go
before you
ahead.
jump in, the other piece of casting is Shakira Barrera, who you might know from Glow. I don't know how much many of you have watched Glow, but she's also been cast in. As what continues to happen is that these actors get cast into unconfirmed roles.
Mhm.
I was familiar with her from Glow, so I do think she's a good actress, and I don't know if that ties into what you were saying with the comic storyline, but
Mhm.
let us know.
Yeah, I mean, the sort of thing I'm seeing here is that we're getting like we could have gotten tech-based characters, and we seem to be getting like a lot of kind of like mystical people, or
Mm-hmm.
at least a couple of mystical people. So I'm just happy that this is not like a Dark Mirror kind of story, like where the tech person goes up against other tech people and like it's a battle of whose technology is superior. We get a fresher sort of take on a tech-based hero.
Okay. And little bit of pre D23 news as well. This is more Star Wars oriented, so just kind of whetting our appetite for D23. We heard that where did my story go? Oh, yes. Jodie Turner-Smith, who you might know from Queen and Slim. She's going to be joining the Acolyte series, or as I like to call it, the Blackolite. Um, she will be joining the series alongside Lee Jong-jae, who you might know from Squid Game. So more non-white people joining the Star Wars universe. Here for it. We don't know a lot about the roles that they're going to be playing. We do know that Lee Jong-jae is going to be the male lead alongside, why am I forgetting her name? Amanda Stenberg? Yes? Yes? Am I making that up, guys? Help me
Is
out.
it is it Amandla Stenberg? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, did I add an extra syllable in there?
You
Amanda.
removed an L.
Nelson Amandala.
I mean, listen, it's right there. It's right there for you. Amanda Stenberg is going to be in the lead role, and alongside them is Lee Jung Jae, and also Jodie Turner-Smith. So the Blackolite continues to prosper. It is going to be a story about the rise of the dark side. So it's only fitting that that melanin be involved. That's as
It
far as.
is only fitting that the characters be on the dark side.
All right. This is another bit of Star Wars news, also pre D23, or like directly in line with D23. We now know who's going to be playing Ezra Bridger. I don't know how many Star Wars heads we have in here, but Ezra is a pretty big fan favorite character from the Rebels cartoon. I think there were some rumors that the guy who from Aladdin was going to be playing the role, but that's not in fact the case. Iman Esfandi, sorry, whose work I am wholly unfamiliar with, is going to be playing Ezra Bridger in the Ahsoka series. Any thoughts about? He's a good-looking guy. Any thoughts?
He's handsome.
Other
Yes,
than
that is
that he's a
thought.
good-looking guy. That Ezra Bridger in the Ahsoka series. I will ask you, Stephanie, whether you have thoughts. You're on mute.
I watched Rebels for the first time. I started it during pandemic, and then I never watched it again because remember that time I had a baby. So I never watched it again. So I just put it back on, I think maybe like 3 months ago because I have a baby. So he was watching it with me, and then I was watching it, and I was like, oh, this show's pretty good. And then I was just like, okay. So I was like, they kept fan casting Mina Masood. Did I say that right?
Yes.
They kept fan casting him. I got on Tumblr one day. It was just like, Ezra is Mina. Mina is Ezra. It's happening. It's official. Like we're going to town. Like let's blow up, the parliament and then whatever. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then, Mina was like, oh, I would love if I got this job, but you never know. And then, then now there's this brand new person who's also looks exactly like Ezra. So it's actually like just really good that they found someone who looks like him. And I'm actually interested to see if they give him blue eyes. Or do the whole like fake thing, or if that doesn't matter at all.
No. Here's the thing. If I know
early.
one thing about Star Wars people, if you don't give him blue eyes, the internet will be set on fire. So he's gonna have blue eyes. But yeah, I mean, shout out to our buddies at Cinelinx, who broke the story that then got picked up by some of the major outlets. So but yeah, like this, listen, Star Wars is in the Disney umbrella, and we're about to get into it. All the D23 revelations. I will give each of you the opportunity to let us know your favorite revelation from D23 before getting into all of them. I will start with you, Jarrett. What's your favorite D23 piece of?
There were a few things, and I'll do a quick run over.
You're gonna say everyone else's.
You went first, and you're gonna take it away from everyone else. But go ahead.
Okay. I'll just do my favorite. Waymond from Everything Everywhere All at Once being in Loki season 2 was incredible. I'm so happy about that.
Yes, the multiverse all-star is I'm gonna get his name real quick. Sorry guys. What? They did not help me out. Here we go. Kihei Kwan is going to be our multiverse all-star, and I'm super hyped for that. Stephanie, your favorite revelation from D23? Gotta pick one.
I mean, I was really excited when I saw young Dooku in the thing.
So, in the Tales of the Jedi.
Plot twist, I was out with my niece and nephew, and they hate me because I was screaming when we were out in public about all the new news. So they are so embarrassed. And I was just like, I guarantee you, none of these people here will remember me or this. So I was really excited. I only saw that one image of what's his name? Jude Law. So I kind of wanted to see that whole trailer, but they didn't. They only showed it to
they didn't put that trailer
cast
out.
Number, right? Yeah. So I really wanted to see that. Of course, Mandalorian.
Whoa, just the one. We're gonna go back through. We just.
I thought you said you wanted me to like.
No, it's one now. Yeah.
You're one favorite.
All right. Well, you know me. I need constant reminders of life changes.
Young Dooku, we got it.
Young Dooku.
Carlos, your favorite.
Okay, never mind. Bye.
What's your favorite revelation from D23?
Me?
Yes.
My favorite revelation is that Rhodey has achieved some level of power where he needs
a security detail.
He needs a security detail. Yeah.
Okay.
I like. Is he the new Ross? Is he the new? Is he a senator?
Ooh.
Is he the president? Like,
what I was wondering was maybe like we don't know what happened to Stark Enterprises.
Yeah,
could be.
Like, I mean, he could be. He like at one point he was kind of like a liaison between Stark and the government.
Yeah.
So like now maybe with Tony Stark not in the picture, maybe he's like in a dual role where he's like private sector, but also in the government.
There's a shot in the trailer where he's being surrounded by people, by handlers, and they're all wearing name tags. So like, all right, he's not the president. President doesn't ever need to wear a lanyard ever. Yes. But maybe he's achieved something. He's higher up somewhere.
Yes. He's not just like, it feels like he's a boss and doesn't have a boss.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like it. I like it. I like it. And you went off. You went off topic. You picked a black person and not a. Stay tuned, Randy. I don't know what you're gonna do. Julia, what's your favorite news from D23? Your favorite revelation, so to speak?
I just know everyone's gonna hate this though.
No, go for it. I love it. I love it.
There's almost like a 98% chance I'll love it if you think everyone else is gonna hate it.
The Thunderbolts lineup.
Oh
the
yeah,
Thunderbolts line. Oh, I love it. I love it. Let's.
That did look good.
I want to get into it.
Hated it. People were so upset. I'm like, oh my god, great, and everyone hated it.
So here's the thing about, I don't have a problem with the Thunderbolts lineup.
Mhm.
I do have a problem with us still not knowing what the Thunderbolts are all about.
Right.
Well, that's
Well, I
why
mean,
you have to
I don't
wait
have a
till the
problem with
movie
that
comes out.
because I don't have a problem with that because there's only like, you know, there's like Comic Cons and stuff, and like people want news and stuff out of them every time. And when there isn't news because they already revealed all the news, there's an issue. We can kind of let that trickle out. Like if next year we go to Comic Con and like Thunderbolts is coming next year, here's the so and such about Thunderbolts. That's okay. I feel like that's okay because we don't have a lot more products. That's why I was okay with no announcements for Phase 6 besides Armor Wars, I guess, at this. Because like we need to like spread out the excitement, I think. So I'm okay with that. And I wasn't even expecting the full Thunderbolts lineup at this so early. So I mean, I guess the next, well, I mean CCXP exists, but Comic Con next year. I guess, and that might have been a little too late. So I mean, makes sense. But yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm excited to learn more. I'm sure we'll learn more. But like I think we can kind of assume some things based on who's in it, what they're all about. I'm sorry for
no, but that's my issue. My issue is that, like, I mean, I can say this because I've said it on the podcast. I don't want the Thunderbolts to just be Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. I just don't think that's an interesting idea, you know. And
what do you want it to be? Because I have some ideas, but I want to know what you.
So I mean, again, this is me shilling for myself. I apologize in advance. But I think that the thing that made the Thunderbolts interesting in the comics right at the inception was that they were supervillains pretending to be superheroes. You know, and I think that there's a really cool idea that could happen in the MCU where you have this void, this power, this vacuum of there being no Avengers team, of these former supervillains trying to rebrand themselves as a superhero team, you know?
I can see that, but the problem is some people on it don't mesh with that. Like if they try and do that with Bucky, like that wouldn't work. I don't think it would even work with Yelena at this point.
Agreed. But I think that that idea of them aspiring towards being seen as superheroes is much more interesting than the government forces criminals to, you know, go on black ops missions.
Yeah, I hope it's not like,
you know what I mean?
Really just like that. Like it seems like it's gonna be a little different because like Valentina's in it and she seems more shady than Amanda Waller. So I feel like it just feels like it's gonna feel different. Like also like even just like with the power sets, and people are complaining like there's 4 super soldiers on this team. I like this team because it's less like it feels less like the Suicide Squad, which is more gimmicky kind of, and this is more about being a bit prettier, and I feel like that's good.
But what I'm saying is that even if they were, so I'm saying even if they were, you know, pretending to be superheroes, the specifics of what they specialize in are different enough that they could still have, you know, differences in terms of how they're presented to the public.
Yeah,
you know, like we know all the differences between like Yelena and Ghost and Taskmaster, like, and while it's easy enough to say that they're all super soldiers, they're still different
specialties
enough.
that they have.
Yeah, I don't mind that personally. I also think that like I think the idea of them trying to rebrand themselves as superheroes, that will come into play, I believe. Because like they're gonna try and be rehabilitating their image. Like you got John Walker and Bucky on the team. Yeah, either it's gonna kind of what it's gonna kind of be about. And I don't know if the public in the MCU knows Ghost or not. Do they know her? Was she like a?
No, she was a Black Ops. She was she worked for like, you know, Shield back when it was Hydra. you know?
Yeah, and who else? Like Redgar, and like, yeah, like I can see themselves trying to rebrand themselves as superheroes. I can see a few of them on the inside secretly trying to do something villainous, and then the other ones find out, and then it becomes a fight between them.
Yeah, so
I feel like that's going to be a
that
lot
being
more.
Ghost, the only one with powers that don't match the other ones.
Yeah, I'm wondering how Ghost fits in on this.
That's
I'm writing an
kinda-
article about this. I'm like, how does Ghost fit?
Yeah.
well, remember, all of them have a history of working in some kind of covert and or quasi-governmental, capacity. Like it would be easy enough if the premise, and again, we don't know what the premise is, but if the premise is the Sokovia Accords are still in effect, so the Avengers didn't cooperate with the Sokovia Accords, but these are people who will cooperate with the Sokovia Accords. Like that, even that still kind of falls within the parameters of former villains trying to rebrand, because they want the goodwill that comes from like being the official.
They're the good heroes that follow the rules.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They're the heroes that are by the book, and even if the book is dirty, they're like they can be promoted as good guys.
I think that's what they'll do. The heroes masquerading as, or the villains masquerading as heroes, in that it's the government publicizing, or Val publicizing them as.
And that's the other thing.
heroes.
Like, if it's even better than the government would be if it was like corporation.
I love that.
Like,
I think
if
that's
it
like
was
the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, where it's like they're present, because remember, we don't know who Val's backers are. We assume it's the government, but it could just basically be a consortium of like rich people.
And
it's
I mean,
like, hey,
like interestingly enough, we kind of have the setup for that in She-Hulk, just from kind of like the superhuman
theoretically
aspect of. I'm just saying, just from like the superhuman law aspect of it, and like sort of not just them recognizing and like trying to restrict super enhanced individuals, but now trying to kind of like monetize them, like Titania is trying to like do the thing with Jen. So yeah, I feel like that's a very interesting sort of turn that they could make. I feel like it could work.
And like I said, I think that could tie into the rebranding aspect, where it's like, I mean, maybe this is stepping a little bit on the territory of The Boys, but like the idea of like officially corporate sponsored, in line with the Sokovia Accord team, and sure, these guys are former villains, but we're gonna get behind rebranding them, and we're gonna like sell as much endorsement as we can.
They're willing to do their time and do like their kind of restitution of toward society.
Yeah, or even better than that, like we joked before about how like Sam Wilson was an Avenger but didn't even get a paycheck. Like that's messed up, right? Like so like if the Thunderbolts were like, no, we actually pay you a salary, you got benefits, you've got all these perks that come with like being part of the Thunderbolts, and that's why these people who are without a country and without like without their old loyalties might sign up for this, like but it could also open the door to someone like Zemo getting involved and saying like, oh yeah, I totally need to subvert this. So I was thinking about this earlier today, and you guys let me know if I'm kind of off base here. Like Zemo's deal is that he's like anti super soldier. He just feels like it's just inherently corruptible. Maybe Zemo just kind of decides, well, rather than trying to like kill all the super soldiers, if the super soldiers are like on my side, that would be better.
It's almost as if it makes perfect sense.
Not just on his side, but under his thumb.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that could work, because I mean, it still leans into kind of his fascist leanings in the comics. It's like, yeah, the thing could be corrupted, but if I were in power, then Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And remember, one of the things that we found out in Falcon and Winter Soldier is that Zemo's rich, y'all. You know, like Zemo
Yeah,
has a lot of
that
money.
is true.
So he could work his even while he's in prison, he could have his like Alfred guy, you know, like working all of the back channels, finances that, you know, he's actually backing the Thunderbolts and them not know that
Yeah,
it's
that
Zemo's
would be
money.
fun. That would actually be really fun.
And that would fall in my world, which is that like you find that's the subversion, that's the twist, that like you think that they're working, you know, for one person, but you find out that they're actually working for, you know, for somebody else.
Yeah.
I forget where I saw this, but like someone proposed the idea that as like a twist, have Zemo under the Taskmaster suit.
Ooh. Ooh, I mean, I feel bad for, you know, for Olga Kurylenko,
Well, I mean, but
she,
as bad as you would feel for her, you sort of set it up that she might be interchangeable by having the Taskmaster power set be technology based rather than based on somebody's actual superpowers. So that's very interesting that you bring that up.
Like imagine you see him take off that mask and he's wearing the other mask.
Mhm. No, I mean it would be a cool twist. I don't lie. I mean, I just think that, you know, a lot of people really went like hard against Taskmaster in the Black Widow
Yeah.
movie, and there's a part of me that wants that to be redeemed. You
Yeah.
know, that the whole concept to be like, you know, presented in a way that's more
That wins people over
that
to
wins
kind of see
people
it.
over. And I
Yeah.
feel like if they switched Taskmaster from a woman to a man, like that there's too many misogynists that would just be like improvement penis,
Yeah.
you know. You know, like I would hope that there was a way to like make Taskmaster better without capitulating to
Yeah.
the people who feel like Taskmaster needs to be a man.
I'm really interested to see if Red Guardian and Winter Soldier have a history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know. Like, have they crossed paths before? Is this the Captain America that Red Guardian thought he was fighting back in the day?
That would be fun.
Probably. They're probably gonna do it.
Well, but I feel like the timeline doesn't line up because he would have still been the Winter Soldier back then.
Sure.
No, but
You know.
I'm hoping that they do crazy Cap William Burnside.
I mean, what if they had like, I don't know, some kind of way that like Bucky was like disguised as Captain America or some crap? Like, I mean,
Right.
I would be fine with that. I would be perfectly fine with that.
Okay, that would be really awesome if there was like an actual like part of
Flashback?
that and then in the flashback, yeah, because that would be super fucking cool. Okay,
Yeah.
pause. Not pause me. You guys can keep talking. I have to push mute. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Maybe it was Isaiah. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like him not knowing that Captain America was black is probably like
True.
weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it would be kind of fun if in this movie we actually got the reveal that they tried like some fake caps in that time frame, kind of like what happened in the comics.
Again,
where, like,
Burnside.
yeah, exactly.
I
like,
want some comic book weirdness. Like it, as much as I can appreciate the groundedness of it, because you know, obviously Winter Soldier was a really good movie, and they you know, they found a really good.
Stephanie, you're mute. Oh, are you muted on purpose? Sorry.
Yeah, Stephanie's muted on purpose. She's got some.
Okay.
Sorry, no problem. Go on,
Sorry.
Randy.
Well, yeah, I just was saying, like, obviously, you know, Winter Soldier is a good template to go off of, or you know, to kind of like it's good to have movies in that tone. But my only complaint is kind of wanting a little bit more comic bookiness out of this movie. And so, like, you know, the sort of the power enthusiast in me kind of was hoping that we were gonna get like Songbird or like, you know, some folks who are kind of like not just traditionally associated, but like people just generally who kind of have sort of visible powers, and like it's okay to kind of thread that needle of like, yes, we're doing the gritty thing, but also this person can blast energy beams or whatever. Like it's fine. I feel like that, you know.
Well, again, I think that's. Go ahead,
I think
Carlos,
that's how like when I saw the lineup and I was like, they're all kind of the same kind of power set except for Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, at least they all present the same way on camera.
Right.
Because you know, Yelena's not a super soldier, but for all intents and purposes, she might as well be.
I mean, she kind of is. I mean, we know that the Black Widows kind of got some kind of enhancement, even if we don't know exactly.
Yeah, it's not to the same scale as you know, whatever. Right. But I do think that the reason that is happening is so that when they fight whatever they're fighting, and that thing can shoot lasers out of their hands, we're like, okay, they're all the more impressive when they're underdogs. They're underdogs, because if not, we've got 4 super soldiers on this team, and like, how are we thinking that they're underdogs?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the arguments where, like, I remember there were people who were like, they need Abomination, they need Red Hulk, and I'm just like, I mean, do you need like those kind of powerhouses on your team? Because at that point, they're not underdogs, like you said. They're at that point, they're the Avengers. Just
I mean, I feel like, you know, I get it. I didn't want it to be quite that, but I don't know. I just was kind of hoping like a little bit that they would kind of lean a little bit more into the comic book element, because you know, I felt like it was a bit too, you know, sort of down to earth.
Yeah. So what I do wonder about is this supposed to be like the launch of a new franchise, or is this a one-off? Because if it's a franchise, then you could still get your other characters in Thunderbolts too, you know. But
I mean, I think if the movie makes $850 million or something, I think then it will be the launch of a new franchise.
I mean, I feel like everybody there is like they took the popular characters out of like a number of different things. Like, you know, we got Yelena Belova, we got Bucky. Obviously, Bucky is a thing, so anything he's in, people are gonna be like, yeah, I want to see that. So I feel like I hope that we're gonna get more than one movie, and hopefully have a couple of, you know, maybe a couple of characters move on to other things, and then have somebody else sort of take that slot or whatever. But I mean, even for an initial showing, I don't fully hate it. Like, some people just were like overboard and extra with like but it was a tad underwhelming, but I'm still willing to give it a chance, because everything that I felt underwhelmed by thus far in the MCU has kind of been like, oh, okay, well, it actually kind of won me over. So yeah.
See, I get it's funny to me, because it's like, it's only underwhelming if you compare them to the Avengers.
Yes,
because they're still a team of superpowered people.
Well, I mean, but I'm saying that because you're not comparing them not just to the Avengers, you're also comparing them to the comic book lineup of the Thunderbolts. Like, if you know I mean, me as somebody, I have not read the Thunderbolts comics. I will admit that. I'm not going to say, you know, whatever. But I kind of know them in passing. Like, I could name a couple of folks who've been on the team and be like, oh, snap, you know, that's somebody, they're pretty impressive, you know. So if you have like a Moonstone, or if you have like a Atlas or somebody like that, it is kind of easy to be like, well, dang, where is that person at? Like, you know, we kind of got a lot of people, and they don't have necessarily the same power set, but their power set is visibly muted compared to the stuff that we saw in the comics.
The other thing is,
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think, I guess in terms of power center, like, I feel like lately I've been realizing I don't think the same way people do. Like, I don't approach this franchise with the same mindset. Because I look at this lineup and I'm like, okay, this is going to be really good for like character interactions. It makes sense. These people know each other already. It's not like we're going to be setting up like a whole. It's like, here's how the team came. It's like, we can kind of just, some of these people know each other and whatever. We got these people, they're going to come together and go. And I like that, because I feel like with this and the Marvels, because the Marvels, like, they don't all know each other, but they like, there's Carol and there's Monica, who is her history of Carol, and there's a negative thing that happened, and then there's Kamala, who has very like she's idolizes Carol, and like it's
Mhm.
kind of like that kind of dynamic. So there's already that dynamic going in, and like I'm really happy with this lineup because I've been worried about stuff like the Avengers coming out where none of them seem to have really met each other very well, and like whoever's trying to be an Avenger. So I'm a little nervous for that lineup, and I was nervous for Thunderbolts for the same reason. But I'm like, okay, no, this is good. Like it actually makes sense. It's actually gonna be really interesting because
Yeah,
they have
I think that's totally fair. I
Yeah.
guess I would say my sort of pet peeve here is that they could have brought in folks that we are familiar with and also brought in a couple new people.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there wasn't any new people.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess where I sort of like find myself is that they didn't have to reveal the full Thunderbolts lineup
Right.
this weekend.
I don't think they have. I still think
I
they're
hope not.
withholding.
Yeah. So like I think that people were already like I think that if they had said these are just some of the people in the Thunderbolts, I think that a lot of the criticism would be muted.
Right.
They did say at CDCC there would be new people introduced for this movie that would be on the Thunderbolts roster. I'm fairly certain they said that.
So
cool.
So if that's the case, then to the extent that there are people who are upset, it's just that they're thinking that this is the final form of the team.
That's precisely how I felt. I was like, dang, this is the full thing. And like,
but if this is just a matter of these are the people that you already know who will be on the team, then it makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Also, I feel like I don't know if I want it to be that much bigger though, because like there's already 7 people and like it's like their first kind of movie together.
I'm not really
like,
counting Val because she doesn't have any powers. Like I understand why she like she would want to be on the poster.
So yeah.
My only hope there is that we get like maybe 2 more people. Like I think they could pull that off and be like they pull it off and still do well.
I think it's important to have at least one person that's just new completely because that's your like viewpoint character to be like, what is happening here? And then, someone explains the deal.
I feel like they're going to use one of the characters like we know pretty well, like Yelena, who's kind of been in a few things in Elite, or Bucky for that part.
No, but the problem with Yelena is that like what we've seen of her so far is that she's so kind of like over it. I don't think she could play an ingenue. Like I don't think she can.
Oh, you mean ingenue? Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, then I get that. Then I understand.
Well. As far as an ingenue, I guess you could say like, the Taskmaster lady, like she because
honestly, that's probably gonna be
because hasn't she been mind controlled this whole time or something?
But the thing is, like, it's been about 7 years. From the end of the Black Widow movie to like the present day, unless she got blipped, and I'm gonna assume that she wasn't. Like that's 7 years of potential character development off screen.
That's fair.
Like I think it's important to have like a new recruit that doesn't know anything about anything.
Melissa that can be Gold.
Or whoever, that can basically be the person.
Songbird or whoever, but Songbird.
That can basically like look at like be our audience surrogate and say like, this is weird, guys. Like, what are we doing here? And then that can be our way of figuring out.
Or conversely, we could be like, since we passed over giving any backstory to Bill Foster as Black Goliath, maybe his nephew Tom Foster shows up and is Goliath instead of having Atlas on the team. But that's just putting something out into the universe.
Only because we've still got a, we'll talk about it later, because we have an Ant-Man movie that's happening. Like maybe there are some characters who will be like teased or introduced in another project that can show up there. And I don't know. I mean, I think that there's potential. I think that if they're trying to make this into a full-blown franchise, then you want to set a foundation. And as much as like I said, my biggest critique or criticism, is that I just don't want it to be hey, this is just like if Marvel did a Suicide Squad. As long as they have like a better concept than that, I'm gonna be fairly open to what they're trying to do, and wait until we actually get the movie before I like levy my biggest complaints.
I think, your first big thing in like separating them from the Suicide Squad, and like based off that one little image of concept art, I feel like it might be the direction they're going in. Suicide Squad always feels like it's no one knows about it. They're ghosts essentially. I feel like they'll be touting it as more of like a
public facing team.
Yeah. Think of like what they did with John Walker, introducing him as the new Captain America. I feel like they'll do this, introduce them as the new Avengers, essentially.
Exactly.
A big press conference, and they're known, and they're not a Suicide Squad.
Yeah. And that's important. Now to be fair, where we left John Walker at the end of Falcon the Winter Soldier, it did seem like he was moving into more of like a covert space.
I mean, they did specifically give him a little redemption arc that was totally terrible and unnecessary and not earned.
True.
Like they start, like, that's the start, I feel like, with that. They're gonna be like, hey, this guy, he was bad, but now he's kind of good, right? So like this is our guy, get excited. Remember John Walker?
I mean, I could fully see them trying to say, like, play to sort of a conservative Midwestern crowd to be like, yeah, the other Captain America was all trying to give these inspirational speeches and whatnot. This one don't take no fools. He'll kill you. Like, I feel like they would try to spin it some sort of way.
We are the take no shit Avengers.
This ain't your woke Avengers. And see, we got the women, like, mostly their faces are covered up, so you could just be like, yeah, they're mostly not, they're mostly guys. Can't you tell? Like, yeah.
Except for Yelena, though. Yelena's
right. So she's the blonde bombshell. Exactly. You get to play her as like she's the blonde bombshell. And you got the one guy with the cyborg arm. You got the guy who's like, he's Russian, but we don't talk about that part. And then so I mean, I feel like they could spin that. I don't think we're totally in the woods there.
I mean, the one POC female is covered by in like a whole little outfit.
And that's fully great covered for PR, apparently.
Fully covered. like what do you mean? No, diversity? No, we don't do that.
What do you mean? Of course not. That would be ludicrous.
Yeah. I from a diversity standpoint, like, again, this is just me falling in love with my own ideas, but like I really wanted them to have like a fake, either a real or fake Wakandan on the team. Because
we got the
Wakanda tests really well with all of the focus groups. So like putting a Wakandan on the team would just be
and see I follow up on that idea, and I would be like, because we don't have we don't really have a role for him right now. So like having like Derek Kanata from the comics, I don't know if anybody else knows him, but I think that like you just add somebody or Delroy Garrett or somebody who's triathlon.
I feel like
no, you see, my idea
would do it.
No, I mean, if they could, they can't afford that actor anymore. But like, no. So my idea was, remember how like in Falcon and Winter Soldier they had like Smiling Tiger. Like they could just be like, Smiling Tiger's Wakandan. I don't know if you guys knew that, but like, it's like he's a cat-based person. Of course, he's a Wakandan.
Even though tigers do not live in Africa, but
we don't have to talk. We do not have to talk about that. No. So, but no, I mean, I'm open to it. I want to see the direction that they go, and I mean, it's not until 2024, so we've got a whole year to see the project take shape.
I think there's a chance that Anthony Ramos will be in the Thunderbolts as the Hood.
As the Hood, I mean, I feel like that's not going to test very well. A Latino Hood.
It really won't. It won't test well. But remember, he's a master of the dark arts. He can...
Not that dark. Not too dark arts. master of the slightly dark arts. But all right, let's get into our big news. All of our
Wait a second. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You didn't give you I'm sorry.
Correct.
Randy.
Okay. So what my the thing that I am most excited about, whatever knows fear burns at the man thing's touch.
Ooh.
I am freaking the freak out that they have finally decided to like just go in and be like, yes, the thing is gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
The man
and
thing.
we got it's a really great trailer and all of that stuff. Y'all can discuss the details obviously, but I'm very happy that after years of kind of like mentioning man thing and sort of playing around in the background, like just bring him out. Good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we got confirmation in the trailer for the Werewolf by Night special, which is October 6th. That's earlier than we expected. We'll get into it, but confirmed man thing in the MCU.
Is that who they're trying to kill?
What's up?
Is it because they're it's all the hunters gathering together to hunt something? Mm-hmm. Is that what they're trying to hunt?
So it kind of feels like the twist is that they think they're hunting somebody, but they all might be something.
Freaks of some supernatural sort. Right.
Yeah, like it almost feels like, let's say there were like 7 hunters, but but 6 of the 7 are actual like monsters.
Right.
Like
but maybe not.
Elsa Bloodstone is like done at the end of the special. She's like, what in the heck? I thought we were all here to hunt monsters, and this one over here is a mummy, this one's a vampire. Like, what? Y'all, like, this is ridiculous.
So do we think she's Elsa Bloodstone? Because I'm not sure.
I thought that was official.
Yeah, they announced that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, they announced it, but at the same time, what makes it so funny is that she also has like her brother is like bound to a demon of some sort, so she has kind of some connection to monsterness as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm intrigued, just the whole thing, like the fact that it's in black and white and they did some practical effects and stuff. I'm yes, give me the thing.
That is a really interesting looking trailer.
It might have been the most visually interesting trailer that we've had in years.
It's really good.
I loved it.
Yeah, looked a little gory. Like,
yes.
I think. Do you think like the black and white, that they can get away with a little more?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yep. I sure do.
Yeah, it's like black and white blood does not hit the same way to sensors.
Maybe it's just chocolate syrup. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get into it. We will start with theatrical Marvel news. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, February 17th. We got a little bit more information about Jonathan Majors as Kang. The people in attendance got to see a teaser trailer. We did not, but we heard some things about this movie. We heard that it's going to feed directly into Kang Dynasty. So what were you guys' thoughts about the reveals from Quantumania?
Can we talk about what we've heard?
Yeah, talk about what we've heard.
Because I've heard that, like, is it Cassie basically started messing around with Hank Pym's diary while everyone was blipped.
Yeah. And figured out how to get to the quantum realm.
It's just really lucky that she's a genius all of a sudden.
I mean,
that wasn't canon. She wasn't like a technical genius.
I mean, maybe she's not, and maybe that's part of the problem.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe she's like, I did the best that I could. Because in terms of the timeline, like Hank Pym wasn't around.
Right.
So, so she had the notes. And remember, like, if she was trying to get her dad back from the quantum realm, but then he showed up, then, I think that it's reasonable to assume that that she's got the stuff that she was working on, but maybe we don't understand yet why she might have picked that back up after her dad came back. But we know, based on the explanations that went around from people who did see the trailer, that somehow she gets kind of like held hostage as leverage for Kang, so that another heist, quantum heist, if you will be done by by Scott. Fingers crossed that means more Luis. I would love multiverse Luis.
Luises talking to each other about how
Yeah.
their universes are different.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yes. But yeah, so I mean, we don't know a lot, but we will find out more, I will imagine, in the next couple months, as the different trailers for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Find out more about Black Panther 2. That's how it seems to be going now.
Yeah, let's go for it. Wakanda Forever.
That's not what I said.
Oh, what did you say, Julia?
Sorry. I mean, yes, we should talk about Wakanda Forever. But I said we're probably going to find out more about Quantumania once Black Panther 2 is out, because that's how Marvel seems to be doing stuff now.
Yeah, just the next thing.
Right. Is that the next movie after Wakanda Forever?
Yeah. February.
Oh, so yeah, there would definitely be a trailer by the time Black Panther 2 comes out. But we didn't get it again. The people got another trailer for Black Panther 2, which I have to imagine is gonna drop in the next month, because the movie's coming out in 2 months. So, but yeah, so we got some more Angela Bassett, the queen that we all love, as opposed to the queen that at least Ireland doesn't love. But yeah, so I heard that Angela Bassett continued to show out. I mean, she showed out in the last trailer, so she's going to show out in this trailer. We also still no reveal as to who the person in the Panther costume is. Obviously, everyone knows about Namor. Yeah, so continue to be hyped around Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever.
Are we calling him Namor?
Namor.
Not
really.
I mean,
I pronounce comic the comic version as Namor, but this version is Namor. Obviously.
Obviously. Obviously, we would give it the Spanish pronunciation for people
you gotta
who are not
sprinkle some
conquered by the
sazon on that.
Spanish.
You can't just say it all the American version. Like, no, you gotta put some flavor on that.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's just about the flavor. Until we find out the actual pronunciation, then we'll respect the actual pronunciation.
He's gonna be like, it's Ramon. I don't know why you guys are mixing this up. My name is Ramon.
Like, it's very racist. I don't understand. Like, you can't even catch on.
Yes. And the all right, guys, we got to get into this. Captain America: New World Order. So yeah, first of all, Hollywood Hogan is not going to be involved in this. So just for the wrestling fans, it's not too sweet. But Captain America: New World Order, that is Captain America 4. It's going to be the first Captain America movie that will be headlined by Sam Wilson. It was revealed officially that the main villain will be Samuel Stern, aka the Leader, which really kind of kills my She-Hulk theory that the Leader was going to reveal himself in that, but maybe still. What else? Oh, the revelation of the Israeli superhero named Sabra, played by Shira Haas from Unorthodox fame. We'll have to get into some of the Twitter controversies. I don't know if they've made their way outside of Twitter yet. But first, as a resident Jewish delegation representative, Jared, how do you feel about Israeli superhero Sabra?
I mean, it's like it's about time. I mean, so Sabra, the name's terrible. Okay.
Okay.
It's for those who don't know, I believe Sabra is a Hebrew word meaning those who lived in Israel before Israel was officially created as a state in 1948, but also
Okay.
kind person, but also it's the name of the hummus company.
Yes, but I think that's because
That's
of
yes, it
yeah.
is because, but like I
Yeah.
remember a friend of mine was like them naming like as a joke, like them naming Israeli superhero Sabras, like them naming a Chinese superhero General Sao. Like it's not
Oh, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it's more like Quaker, right? Like I feel
yeah.
like I feel like if people don't know what the Quakers are, and they're like, "Oh, Quaker," I know they're like the food company. You know, like it's like, but go on, go on, go on.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm thrilled for the representation. The Shira Haas is, I mean, loved Orthodox.
Okay.
And she's fantastic in
Yeah.
everything that I've seen. I haven't seen her in a ton besides Unorthodox, but like she was fantastic in that, and she was good in everything else I saw her in.
Mm-hmm.
But like I heard the New World Order, like
yeah. So real quick before we get into that, you know, this goes back to what we were saying before about Marvel trying to like snap up an actor when their actor's kind of like on the upswing of their career. You know, I had heard great things about Unorthodox and about Shira Haas. So it does, like, she fits the profile of an actor that Marvel like swoops in before she becomes like a household name.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, so there's this whole again, I'd like to call it a Twitter controversy because
it's really nothing more than that.
But I do think it's worth having a discussion about just kind of the how fraud it is in the current climate to have a not just, you know, I wouldn't say that the idea of an Israeli superhero is problematic, but maybe a Israeli intelligence operative,
the specific affiliations that she has, right?
You know, I do think that there's a some pitfalls, if you will, of making kind of a more nationalistic superhero where specifically the nationalism is one of Israel.
Israel is a hot button topic nowadays. That is correct. However, like I don't.
No, go on. No, this is why we do this.
I know. I do feel as though like she is. There are not a lot of Jewish superheroes out there.
True.
And they can work around like it that they don't have to make the fact that she was in the Mossad a whole or like you can work around that.
Okay.
You know, just because
so I have to ask, so here's a question I have to ask.
Yes.
If would you feel slighted if they didn't actually like mention the Mossad by name?
I think they don't have to do it as the Mossad. I think they could do it as just the Israeli army. I happen to think I'm for these for you know in Israel when you're 18 you have to serve time in the army.
Right.
I happen to be for that. I think Jews have, you know, allowed a lot to happen to, like it's suffering is in our history, it's in our ancestry, it's in our religion, and this is a way the army is a way for Jews to feel proud about themselves and to stand up and, you know, be proud for something, you know. So that's kind of my reasoning around it. I know people like it is hot button. It's and for good reason. But I think that as a Jew seeing that, I support that. I will feel proud, and I think that's how they should do it. I think there's a way to do it
So you would prefer that she just be sort of like a soldier less than a spy.
The Mossad is a little rough. Like,
Yeah.
maybe don't do that. But like maybe someone high up in the special fort, like something like that. I don't think it has to be the Mossad.
Got it. Yeah, and the thing is, like, for the benefit of the listeners, Sabra in the comics is a mutant.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that she's going to be a mutant in the MCU. I think, especially because if she's going to be in a Captain America movie, I think that there's probably she'll probably be more in the line of like a super soldier.
A super soldier, yeah.
And I think that kind of ties in to the like you said, the nationalism of them trying to have like their own Captain America.
I can see that.
Like an Israeli Captain America.
I'm for that.
Yeah.
There will be people that aren't for that, but I do like that. That's just what I and I.
No.
I
mean, I think that I think it's important to have these discussions because I think that anti-Semitism is an issue, and it's something that is kind of on the rise in different communities, and you don't want to be perceived as capitulating to anti-Semitism by not having a Jewish superhero.
I feel especially after it kind of fell by the wayside in Moon Knight. I really would like it to be at the forefront for this character.
Yeah.
And their mishandling of sort of like the casting of Wanda and Pietro. Like, I like the actors, but yeah.
That too.
Yeah. But like you said before, if they kind of go maybe a little bit too hard with the nationalism, then it gets into thorny geopolitical issues with regard to what Israel's done or doing.
Can I ask something ignorantly?
Sure. Go ahead.
How much is Judaism conflict? I mean, I know, yes, Israel's a but like, I don't know how to word this.
Okay.
Like, is there a way we can do like Jewish representation stuff without having to bring that in, that aspect of it, or is it anti-Semitic not to want to bring that in? I don't know, because
if I may, Israel was established as a Jewish state, so I feel like if you're gonna bring up one, the other has to come up. I personally do think it would not be doing it justice if you don't bring up one without the other.
No, I mean, the Jewish thing should be brought up. I'm just worried about the Israel thing because I know that's wrong. And then then you're looking like you're against Palestine or whatever, and that's not good either. And it's like, I don't know what to do.
I am worried. I am worried, but I think I'm sure there's a way they can do it where.
I mean, I also think that without knowing what the plot of the movie is going to be, I think there's a big difference between a movie where there's an Israeli super soldier and a movie where the plot centers around the creation of an Israeli super soldier. You know what I mean? Like, what did you say?
I agree. I think.
I think if the story is like there are other super soldiers in other countries, including Israel,
I agree.
And she meets Captain America, and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, other countries are trying to do. I just
don't want to get to propaganda territory with this, and we know these Captain America ones and other ones how are kind of known for like the like controversial stuff with the military and like are they promoting military too much? And that's not just a Captain America thing. It's Captain Marvel. It's Iron Man.
You kind of can't avoid it, like just because of the fact that it is a Captain America thing. Like and Sabra is inherently sort of a political character. Like,
oh my god. Yeah. I'm not covering. I'm refusing to cover this movie already. I can tell.
I mean, it's obviously.
But one thing that I want to jump in on is like we in Winter Soldier, it was very explicit that you had Captain America uncomfortable with the decisions that were being made above his pay grade. You
Right.
know, uncomfortable
like,
with the espionage aspects, and
yes,
ultimately, like,
and
he
I
does
feel,
what's right rather than what the
yes,
government would have wanted.
exactly. And that's what I was gonna say. I feel like you could have Sabra do something along those lines and not be like, oh, I agree with, you know, whatever powers that be. You know,
Right.
obviously she loves her country, she loves her people, and still tries to do the right thing by them, not necessarily concerning herself with getting on the good side of the higher ups.
I think that there's an issue, like there's an inherent issue where if you go that route where she's you know, for her people and for her country, which is obviously commendable and admirable, but she goes against, like, you know, the corruption of her government or whatever. Now you're telling a story about corrupt Israel, and which, like, you know, as Americans, we do that for America. We're Americans. Israel is not telling this story. We are. So, like, that's a fraught situation in and of itself.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I like it's a real tightrope. And honestly, like, as it is already, like the people who we all know exist out there have seen a movie called Captain America New World Order, and the one announcement they got was there's an Israeli character. They're like, whoa, of course the New World Order is going to have an Israeli character in it. So, like, I think it's like it's like Marvel wants the smoke this time, but, like, I really hope they're very.
Good thing they have a black person headlining this movie to smooth over the tension.
No,
Yeah.
I believe you misstated the movie. I believe it's titled.
Is gonna be unbearable. And it's just gonna be
Carlos. I thought it was called N-word order.
Right.
So no, but no seriousness. I mean, again, we don't actually know what the plot of the movie is, right? So we just know that this character's in the movie. And I think that where we were left last is that, you know, there's no shield. We know that there was, at least in the not No Way Home, sorry, what was the other one? Far From Home. We know that there was some kind of, like, group of nations that was trying to figure out the next thing after shield.
Yeah.
Like, shield was itself an intelligence agency, an espionage group. The titular New World Order could just be this cabal of people who were representing all these other nations and trying to you know, do things behind the scenes. And if it's not explicitly a cabal of
Jewish world leaders, and
if it's like Asia, Africa, Israel, you know what I mean? If it's like a multinational group of people from different parts of the world that find themselves being subverted by the leader. Now, here's the thing we have to talk about as the racial draft. Jared, you're familiar with the leader.
Oh, of course I'm familiar with Samuel Stearns.
This is a great question. Upland, have you felt like the leader was Jewish representation before now?
Positive
representation. Yeah, I gotta be honest, like, so I don't know if I've mentioned my whole Jewish representation thing when it comes to Jewish actors playing roles. So I'm like, it should be a Jewish actor playing a Jewish character, unless the actor playing them, the non-Jewish, the Gentile actor playing them, is so perfectly suited for the role. I happen to think Oscar Isaac was so perfectly suited for Moon Knight.
Okay.
I also think Tim Blake Nelson is the best casting choice that they have never ever taken advantage of.
Okay.
Clearly seems like now they are.
Yeah. But before that, did you conceptualize the leader as a Jewish person? Because I never did, honestly.
Yeah. To be like, Neither did I. I was only joking when I was like Samuel Stern.
Yeah.
That really
because the thing is, I know
yeah.
Stearns that are not Jewish. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like, it never crossed my mind that like the leader, all these years in comics, was like the Jewish leader. You know
I mean, especially in a movie called New World or subtitled New World Order, it is a bad look. But like, I'm so excited to see the leader again. Like, I'm so excited to see the leader.
I mean,
as somebody who is, I'm speaking up here as a Gentile. I am not Jewish. I don't know about Jewish culture, history. So I will just say, when I hear the phrase New World Order, my mind does not go to Jewish people. My mind goes to YouTube. My mind goes to the Illuminati. like those people who are like, I mean, obviously there are people who make the connection between Jewish people and that sort of conspiracy theory stuff, but that's where my mind goes to, like the they're out there, they're doing stuff. That's
and
the
thing is the they can be anyone. Go on.
Yes, exactly.
The thing is though that when you're on YouTube and you're looking at the Illuminati videos, you are like 2 clicks away from it being the most anti-Semitic thing that you've ever seen.
Right.
Like
you are,
it is
that's
right
true.
there.
And at the same time, but at the same time, you're also 2 clicks away from it being Beyonce and Michael Jackson and the Lizard People. That's the point. Like,
right.
Yes,
and the thing is, you know, I mean, I'm a little older than you guys. No offense, but like the term New World Order has been with us like since before we were all born.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it has just been the catch-all for like whatever
the scary
shadowy
boogeyman
group that you want to like. So it's malleable. So like if you're like against Black people, then the New World Order is like is brown people. If you're against
Jay-Z
Jewish people,
and
the New World
Beyonce.
Order, the New World Order for some people is Jewish people, but for other people it's Beyonce and Rihanna and Jay-Z ruling with the lizard people underground and molesting babies. Like that's kind of just their thing. Like they, you know. So I feel like it can obviously be used for that and has, but it is not inherently that.
Right.
But
and the thing is
right now in this moment, like the title of the film was created now. Like,
but to be but here's the thing. To be fair, I think we talked about this a couple months ago when the leak, happened of what the new Captain America movie was, and I don't think any of us said, Captain America New World Order, is he going to be going against the Jews? Nobody said that was like the first thing that came to our mind when that title leaked. Like,
that was the title of the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Exactly.
People are only making those connections now that Sabra was announced to be in it, and the leader who could maybe be Jewish is the villain. Like,
and I think that's a little bit disingenuous.
It's a little silly.
It's highly disingenuous because we kind of get like again, like sort of when controversy doesn't become a controversy on Twitter necessarily until the right people or the quote unquote wrong people sort of set their eye on it and bring the attention to everybody. Because if that was the case, if they really truly felt that way, they would have said it from the get-go, like y'all say. And we would have had like the sort of outlash in terms of Thunderball being whitewashed on the She-Hulk. Like, it took a little minute for people to kind of be like, oh wow, Thunderball was whitewashed on She-Hulk. That's outrageous. Like, it happened a couple weeks ago. You didn't say anything before.
I still don't think that's the real Thunderball.
Yeah, I hope. Do we know if it was Dr. Elliot?
Never named.
No.
Never
they
named.
never explicitly named him. No.
Yeah. But
what if he's the boss?
I assumed I already said that he's the boss. I said that the leader.
I hope.
No, Doctor.
No, he's saying what if Thunderball is the boss?
Thunderball. I hope.
No, you see, I'm again. We're gonna get into like. I promise we're gonna have another episode of Shokin and Jiving. I promise. But like I blame all of you for.
Wait, that's what you call this? Shokin and Jiving?
Yes.
But like,
excuse me while I recover from my laughter.
But like, my theory has been that these are just this is like the beta test,
the emissaries
of the beta test of the wrecking crew. Like, they just gave the weapons to some like group of jobbers, but like once they're gone, like the actual wrecking crew will get the weapons, and then we'll see them in other stuff. Right?
They're a group of incels. Like, I feel like Dr. E probably wouldn't be among them.
Right.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. Like, I saw it as like these were just some chumps that were given these weapons, and they got like quickly dispensed with. And if we see them again, it will be like a better class of villains. And then, and it's almost like in it's not exactly the same, but you know how in Spider-Man Homecoming, you had like that chump guy who had the shocker weapon, and then he gets like vaporized, and then we get the actual shocker. Spoiler for Spider-Man Homecoming, sorry guys. But like, just like the fact that he called himself Thunderball doesn't mean that he's Elliot Franklin.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, if they called him Elliot Franklin, then I would be like, what the fuck, guys? Like,
what the fuck? Name another white guy with the last name Franklin. Hasn't been one since Ben. I was gonna say, just to put like a bow on the the New World Order part of it. I just think that in so much as the fact that like Israel will be a component of this movie in any way, anything that happens will be construed as Marvel's stance on Israel. So like, I just think that's just the way it is. That's just how fraught
it's going to be controversial.
And so I do hope that they're being careful at the, I don't care if they come out and make a stand either way, whatever. I think that'd be weird, but I hope they're being careful with it.
So here's what I want to throw out there, because I was thinking about this the other day. I'm sorry, the other day being today. There's a character, I don't know his actual like government name, called the Arabian Night, in the comics.
There's a couple. There's like 3.
Okay. I would imagine they're not going to have the Arabian Night, in the movies, but they could have they could have that person reimagined, as another super soldier if they wanted, right? They could have, like, if the argument is that they were going to have super soldiers from different countries, having both a Israeli super soldier and a Saudi Arabian super soldier working in tandem with one another,
and not have them argue like they did in Agents of
that's
Wakanda.
right, exactly what I'm saying. Like, having them like be on the same side, like, kind of goes to the argument of there being more of a like alliance of different nations that go beyond the politics of our world. I think that would do a lot to subvert some of the some of the fraught aspects of, is Sabra a Zionist propaganda figure? You know what I mean? Like, probably, maybe not.
I don't need another Wonder Woman 1984 situation. I really don't.
Wonder Woman 1984 was like a bad movie in a lot of ways, but like that portion of it was like actually offensive. Like, that was actually
and I just think that Marvel has better quality control where they're
put
something like that out into the world.
I think that they are cognizant of the optics, so I hope that they know how to manage the tightrope that they are aware that they're on.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you throw Layla Al-Faouli in there and we're good to go, right?
Oh, imagine.
That would be a lot of fun, especially if Moon Knight is it I know
actually
that's going around.
Putting Moon Knight in there doesn't sound crazy.
It makes a lot of
sense. I'm about to say, wait, hold on. Did we just circle?
Did we solve it?
Square the circle of how Moon Knight makes sense to factor into this movie? Because we just were talking about at the beginning of the show, oh, that's ridiculous. I hope not. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we might have solved it.
I don't hate that. I really don't.
I don't hate that at all. I like it. Nicely done. Good
job.
job.
I'm off to Hollywood, everyone.
Your checks are in the mail.
You did it. You did it.
I did it.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, final thoughts about. I mean, listen, we're gonna have a lot of time to talk about this movie before it comes out, May 3rd, 2024. So not quite 2 years, but that's a while.
That's a minute.
Yeah. But let's move on. Let's talk about Fantastic Four. Confirmed that Matt Shakman is going to be in the role. Not confirmed any casting, which means all of your casting tweets can continue. Your fan cast, full speed ahead. Keep doing that, guys. Keep having fun. Cast any 4 members of whatever the 4 members of BTS. Fantastic Four. Yeah.
All the Stranger Things guys.
There are 6 members of BTS. I know.
I had Queen Elizabeth as Ben Grimm, and
it's not gonna happen.
I lost my pool.
Yeah, it's clobbering time. It's clobbering time. Yes. But that's still November 2024. We already talked about the Thunderbolts, July 26, 2024. So in the same year, you're going to have in May, Captain America New World Order, and then in July, Thunderbolts, and then November, Fantastic Four. I'm going to, just for the record, because I talked about this, I think Jared knows where I'm going with this. I think that there will be some kind of connection between Thunderbolts and Captain America. I think that to the extent that there's some kind of international group that's fighting to try to acquire power. One of the things that happens in the comics is that you have a secret invasion. We're going to talk about that later. And what that leads to is Dark Reign, aka another group taking power as the dominant superhero / intelligence apparatus. Obviously, there's no Green Goblin, but maybe the leader and his group kind of step into the fold as the hammer, if you will, in this background, and that leads to the Thunderbolts kind of being sort of shadow run by by the leader and his group, the intelligentsia, or whatever they want to call it. And that's the connection between this New World Order and the Thunderbolts.
What's the movie that ends the next phase?
Black Panther, the current phase or the next phase?
The next phase. I
think the next phase ends with
Thunderbolts.
Oh, does it end with Thunderbolts? Because I thought it ended with the Kang dynasty. No,
that's phase 6.
Oh,
the Kang dynasty will be the Avengers film right before the next Avengers film.
Yes, Secret Wars ends phase 6 also.
Got it. So phase 5, the movie that ends, is it Fantastic Four that ends phase 5?
No, it's Thunderbolts that ends phase.
Oh, Thunderbolts ends phase 5.
Fantastic Four begins phase 6. Thunderbolts ends phase 5. So it's Thunderbolts. So New World Order, Thunderbolts, if you think they're connected.
Gotcha.
Almost like a part 1, pseudo part 1, pseudo part 2.
Yeah. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit because we still don't know. Well, Secret Invasion is happening next year, 2023. And then Armor Wars is happening sometime after that. So those 2 things can set the stage for.
Maybe that's our February. The February 2024 Maybe
Armor
that's
Wars?
Armor Wars.
Maybe.
They didn't announce that.
They didn't announce the time for Armor Wars. They didn't. No.
No, they didn't announce a February 2. They have that date. They just
What a
didn't
Black
announce any
History Month
before.
gift. I would like that.
They have that date, but they haven't announced it. Could that be a Spider-Man movie then?
They've done that before where they don't announce something and then give it to Sony.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they don't run Spider-Man against any of their own movies.
No.
So
yeah, I still think that February date is Deadpool. Just because they've done other they did the first Deadpool in that February. But I don't yet know where and how Deadpool will fit.
Right. That's the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have fit on Thunderbolt.
Yeah, Deadpool will be an awesome fucking Thunderbolt.
He would change the hierarchy of
yeah, right. He would.
I'm just saying. I mean,
that project completely changes tone if Wade Wilson's in the Thunderbolts.
For a team that's like everybody's complaining about, like, oh, they have similar power sets and similar skills and stuff. I mean, Deadpool is really good at like doing stuff that would normally be lethal and getting back up from it. So
it's pretty good at not dying at all.
Yes.
Listen, whatever we would have estimated as the box office for the Thunderbolts movie, if Deadpool gets added to it, that adds like $300 to $400 million.
There.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but holding out hope.
Right. So so those were the Marvel theatrical news. We also got some Lucasfilm news. Indiana Jones 5. They trailer was revealed. I didn't get to see it, so I don't know. I don't think we got a lot of reports as to what took place in Indiana Jones 5. So we'll wait for that to trickle out. There was a trailer for Willow. Maybe I'm the only person that has an affinity for Willow, but I'm here for it. Apparently there was like 20 minutes of footage from the new Avatar movie that involved 3D glasses. So it remains to be seen whether the Avatar will hit its numbers, but it's happening later this year, guys.
Apparently the 3D was incredible. Like that, I think it was Joanna Robinson was like, I reached out to grab like the stingray or whatever it was that was,
that was my experience with the first Avatar. So if they're going, they're still doing that.
I'll say this: I was at Disney World earlier this year, and there's a Ratatouille ride that is in 3D.
Are you sure it's not Raccoon-a-Too?
But yeah, it was a Ratatouille ride, and it was in 3D, and there were parts where like the evil chef is like reaching out to grab you, and you're the size of the rat. You're basically a rat in this ride, and that part we all like reacted as though it was actually coming at us. Like the 3D technology has gotten very, very good very, very quickly. So I will see Avatar 2, even though I have no desire for the story of it. I just want to see the 3D.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's going to be weird because I feel like the trailer in 3D would make a lot of people want to see it, but most of the other movies that we see aren't in 3D, so we're not gonna really experience it the way it's meant to be seen.
Right.
Also, we got some news about the Lion King prequel, which is still gonna be done by why am I forgetting his name now? Barry Jenkins. Yeah, Barry Jenkins is he's getting that bag to do the Mufasa sequel. That's also in 2024. We got the Little Mermaid. Shout out to the people who are mad about gingers.
It would be incredible if in the Mufasa prequel, it's like Mufasa is a cub, but it's still James Earl Jones. Father, I just want to be like you, and it's like this tiny little thing.
Barry, if he's open to doing that, like what by the way, what the hell is he do? Like he's too good for this.
No, whoa. Is he too good for $1 billion?
It will make, yeah, okay, fine. Touche. If he will do this, I'm hoping that he
does like a Star Wars movie. Yes.
No, X-Men.
Oh no.
Listen,
if he does an X-Men movie, we gotta have black X-Men. That's my rule.
Right.
I mean, I think we're getting that, right? So
yeah. But yeah, either a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie. I feel like Star Wars needs it a little more. So I'd be here for Barry Jenkins' Star Wars movie. There's a planet that's apparently like 1960s Harlem. Don't overthink it, guys. Don't overthink it.
I'm so down to see that planet. I want to see that planet.
But yeah, shout out to the people who they're pro ginger, but you shift a little bit of those continents around, and they're right there. So Little Mermaid 2023, summer 2023. I guess I'm here for it. I mean, I didn't see the first one. I'm one of those people. Didn't watch.
Here's my hot take on the Little Mermaid. Didn't know I had that, did you? The Little Mermaid slaps, except for Ariel's songs. Like Sebastian's got 2 songs, they slap. Ursula's got a song, it slaps. Ariel's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. We got to sit through this story, but like, I just have no like.
Did you hear that?
I understand that
Miranda's
part of your
writing...
world is like a banger. I just don't personally like it.
Yeah, but did you hear that Lin-Manuel Miranda's writing new songs for this?
Of course he is. Of course he is.
Diggs is Sebastian. Sebastian's going to be rapping.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So
aside from the good news that Carlos has learned the new phrase slaps.
Wow, this shots.
Aside from that, yes, I feel like we're getting an upgrade in terms of Ariel's singing quality. I'm not saying that Ariel couldn't sing the original, but she's very she's outshined by the other characters. And this time we got Halle Bailey, who actually she sounds like a freaking Disney princess when she sings. She hits high notes really great and all this other stuff. She's a cute girl. She, obviously they got the hair popping, melanin popping, even though the oceanic background isn't quite as vibrant and exuberant. But I felt happy, fuzzy 1990s feelings when I saw the trailer. I'm happy for it.
All right.
I'm excited for this movie to come out because it's time for them to start going further back. Like, I want to see live action Black Cauldron, live action Sword in the Stone.
Yes.
Like, let's get to that, because they will now have covered. They will have done The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, and
didn't they say they were doing Snow White? Didn't they say they had Snow White on the docket?
No, Snow White's on the docket. Yeah, Rachel Ziegler.
They've definitely done Snow White, are doing Snow White. They've obviously done Pinocchio, but like they have covered now all of the 90s like revival era, unless they're going to do Pocahontas, which they should absolutely not do.
Wait. I think you're forgetting about Tarzan and the Phil Collins soundtrack. Yeah.
You're right.
Absolutely give me the swinging half-naked white boy. Yes, please. Thank you. I want that.
I mean, I do think like we're going to get to a point where they're just going to do like, and now Frozen, and now like they're going to do the 2000s era.
Oh, for sure.
You mentioned Pinocchio, if I may. I saw Pinocchio. I watched the remake 2 nights ago. I had a little bit of Capri Sun beforehand. And
thank you for the information.
Yep. I can confidently say this is as close as we've gotten to another Cats movie.
Oh wow, it's that bad.
The movie ends with Jiminy Cricket saluting the audience, and just that's it. That's it.
I guess that's why I went straight to streaming. That's unfortunate.
I mean, it just abruptly ends. I found this so funny.
The funny thing is, like, Robert Zemeckis gave us the high point, like, for me, of modern, like, American animation in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like, I think it is a masterpiece. And then he spent like the 2000s just fucking around with like lifeless, soulless CGI. Like, you know, you get the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol, the Polar Express, which is like a nightmare fuel. Watch that thing. You know, like they even mocked it in the Chip and Dale movie. They mocked that type of CG that he is famous for. Beowulf was another one. It's just like, what are you doing, man? Like, you used to make the some of the best. He made Back to the Future. Like, he made some of the best movies ever. And then basically since like Castaway, he just kind of like cast away his filmography.
He did Flight and the Walk though.
I was gonna say he did do Flight, which I do think is like, but it's not considered one of his.
So my understanding is that he kind of fell in love with the like camera technology, you know, and like he's just more interested in innovating on that side than he is on innovating on the storytelling side,
which is just really a shame. It just really is.
Kind of like a shitty James Cameron.
Yeah. I mean, it feels that way. It does.
Yeah, or George Lucas would be another one where it's like, you're just using these Star Wars movies to advance your CG technology, aren't you?
And yeah, listen, who knows? I mean, if he's like patented new technology and he knows that he's gonna be like cashing a bunch of checks like way into later in life, then, you know, joke's on us, you know. Like,
I mean, listen, I haven't heard a Dr. Dre song since Beats by Dre came out, and I don't expect it.
So let's run through the movies on Disney Plus. Hocus Pocus 2, I have not seen Hocus Pocus 1, so I won't be there. Disenchanted, I did see Enchanted, and I think I'm there. I think I'm there for Disenchanted, guys. November 24th. So that's happening.
That's Thanksgiving, isn't it?
I suppose so, yeah.
See, yeah. I feel hesitant to watch Hocus Pocus 2 anyway, just because like we kind of, first of all, the first movie itself was like, it felt really well encapsulated and you don't really have to add anything onto it. And like, you know, I get people feel that way about a lot of sequels and stuff, but I kind of just like, I want to leave it as.
So when did the first one come out?
Like in the 90s.
Like 25 years ago.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, it's just they're doing the thing. They're like, you know, hey, it's 20 years later, 30 years later, even.
Yeah, and typically I'm kind of like sort of blasé, and like I don't really make a big fuss about people making sequels and stuff like that, but I felt like that one was really well encapsulated. And on top of that, Bette Midler apparently is like super transphobic. So like,
we don't.
This movie is a total nostalgia play. Like they're literally just like, even in the trailer, they're just playing the hits. Like they even do like the amok thing. Like it's like, ew, that doesn't even fit in this part.
See what makes it so funny on top of that, or like, I guess not funny per se, but like, just like, I think in the original, didn't it say that you could only try to summon their spirit like every 300 years or something like that? Which is like what it said. It's like you can only do it, and that was why they specifically did it that night, because it was exactly 300 years, blah blah blah,
right,
since the Sanderson sisters died. So I'm like, okay, that doesn't, you know, it doesn't even jive with what you kind of established in your own.
Oh no, but you see, Randy, the decimal point was off. They were
using the metric system.
Yeah, it's every 30 years, not 300 years. I understand.
I mean, listen, at the end of the first Thor, we're told the Bifrost is broken and Thor can never come back to Earth. And then he came back to Earth in Avengers. And they're just like, what? How?
Yes.
I mean, it's just I just didn't feel like it's necessary, and I'm kind of like typically I'm not the stickler for that, but
I
just
feel
in that
like
particular one,
I
yeah.
feel like when people talk about what's necessary, they're thinking about necessary from like a storytelling perspective
Right.
and not from like a shareholder perspective. Like from a
Well,
shareholder perspective, it's very necessary.
well, yeah,
It's
I get that, but I guess my own feelings about like it's just a storm of kind of like things that kind of just weigh against it, and for them to do that, again, Bette Midler being Bette Midler, and you know, we kind of see her voice some problematic views and stuff on social media. Already, I felt like kind of like, let me just keep this one thing. It's fine. We don't have to add to it. So I'm
I mean,
like,
listen, if we need to get a Hocus Pocus 2 so that I can get the origin story of the glass slipper from Cinderella, like, and
look,
get
look,
that its own sequel.
if they want to give me, if like, see, Hocus Pocus 2 for me could have been like somebody else dabbling with like unseen forces somewhere else and like focusing
Other
on a
witches.
different, right? Because I mean, we don't have to specifically, because like especially now we kind of have like this era of like, we've sort of moved past the, what if the Salem witches were actual witches and not just like persecuted women who were queer and weird and stuff, and like no, we actually kind of have moved past that era where we are not treating the Salem witch trials as actual witches. We're having like explorations of different cultures and stuff like that, and actually seeing sort of the viewpoint of like, hey, this different system of magic or this different culture, this different society. So I felt like that was a missed opportunity, and that just is so many different things that kind of were like, no, you didn't really win me over with the premise here.
So you're saying if it would have been like Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, and Whoopi Goldberg.
See, you exactly. You pitched it, and I will hit that ball. Yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more talk about Hocus Pocus than I thought we were gonna do.
Yeah, I agree. I almost want to keep it going, but I'm not.
That's my sort of parallel racial drafting of something other than comic characters. So
yeah,
sorry about that.
I mean, if we're gonna racially draft it, it's a hoes who cuss pocus. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there.
Make sure that you give them your name so they can cuss you out on Twitter.
But yeah, so additionally, also on Disney Plus in 2023, Peter Pan and Wendy are gonna get a I guess it's not related to the Hook franchise, it's its own thing. But we'll find out what's going on with adult Peter Pan in this new series.
Oh, is he an adult?
I think he's adult Peter.
I'm pretty sure it's their live action remake of Peter Pan.
Oh, so it's young Peter. It's not.
Yeah. I mean,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say,
come on,
Peter Pan does taxes.
I mean, that was the plot of Hook, but
yeah, that's what I
Hook
thought.
Wasn't a Disney. I don't think Hook was a Disney movie. Hook was DreamWorks. That was a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah, but I thought it was pre-DreamWorks. I thought it was when he was still like doing like you know.
I don't know that it was Disney though, for sure. Like I don't.
Peter Pan mourns the loss of his childhood and spirals into alcoholism. Like,
not to be confused with Peter Pandemic, where he discovers the COVID protocols and the Lost Boys were not up to snuff.
Peter Pan is played by Liam Neeson.
Okay, so additionally, we've got some new movies that all seem like original ideas, with the exception of Inside Out 2. I've not seen Inside Out 1, but I hear it's good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
That shit still makes me cry. I mean, like,
yes.
Bing Bong. Yeah, Bing
Bong.
Like, Bing Bong will do it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, one day I will set aside. But these other movies that are dropping, June 16th, I suppose, June 16, 2023, Elemental, which is, I think, Avatar: The Last Airbender, but maybe, animated ish.
I thought it had something to do with Mysterio, but I guess I was
wrong. So what you're telling me is that it's released within the proximity of Juneteenth, and the cast is looking like what demographically?
I think no, it's animated, so I think they're just going to be their actual.
Yeah. But who's voicing it though? I want to know.
All right, here we go. We'll find out the actors that are going to be playing.
Is it Tyler Perry's Elemental or not?
Right. Exactly. The important question. That's what I want to know.
So let's find out very quickly.
Is Jill Scott in this movie or not?
Exactly.
Ooh, Jill Scott in Hocus Pocus.
Right. See? Yes.
Yeah. So Mamadou Athie is going to be playing Ember, like it's the fire. No, sorry. Going to be playing Wade, which is the water. Also, Leah Lewis.
Wade in the water.
Oh, no.
Wait, that sounds kind of black. Hold on.
That's the Juneteenthiest thing you can do.
Who was that? Who was the actor again?
Mamadou Athie, who was in Jurassic World Dominion, which I have not seen. Leia Lewis from The Half of It is going to be playing Ember, which is the fire. Who else? I don't know about the other castings. I think we just know the fire and the water, Ember and
so it's just these two elementals that are in love with each other, but they can't ever touch because one is fire and one is water.
Okay, fine. So one of the black lead. Okay, fine. Black lead, fine, acceptable. Juneteenth movie there.
Got it.
The director is Peter Sohn, the guy who did The Good Dinosaur.
Okay. Additionally, start coming out in November, Strange World. I don't know anything about Strange World, but it looked visually interesting.
I saw the trailer for it before a couple of kids movies that I've gone to the theater for, and it's just been like, something I can leave on for my children while I go do something else.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it looked visually interesting, but I don't know a thing about the plot.
Right.
So additionally, a movie called Elio about a dreamer named Elio who goes to space and makes contact with an alien civilization. Now, that's not coming out until spring of 2024. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of time to flesh out what the plot of that's going to be. But
is that one Pixar?
Yes, it is Pixar.
Okay. And that one's going straight to Disney Plus as well?
No. These are all theatrical.
Oh, these are all theatrical. Great.
These are all theatrical. Yes. And then there's a movie called Wish, which is about a wishing star that is going to tie into the Disney mythology about wishing on a star.
Yeah, it's the wishing star from Pinocchio.
Yeah, makes no difference who you are.
Okay, cool.
I don't know exactly how that one works. Like the movie's about a star. Unless there's a war involved, I'm completely unsure how that works.
Well, the voice of the main character is going to be Ariana DeBose, coming off her Oscar win, getting that bag.
She'd be in Hocus Pocus too.
Getting that bag. So yeah, I mean, we don't have a release date on that, so I'm sure. Oh no, sorry, fall 2023. So we'll see more about the Wish. But Marvel TV, guys, Ironheart. We heard about the castings. TBA still on the premiere of that. Secret Invasion, we got a trailer. Everybody, give me one sentence review of the Secret Invasion trailer. I'll start with you, Jarrett.
One sentence.
One sentence review.
The trailer was fine and felt like Winter Soldier kind of, and I was disappointed that I only saw one scroll.
Interesting. Okay.
Or did you?
I mean, I would say the scene where every person in a room turns into Kingsley Benadir at the same time means that you saw a shitload of scrolls. But
like I like.
It seemed it felt very paranoid thriller to me.
Yeah,
and like more paranoid thriller than I was expecting, even though I knew it was a paranoid thriller. But Carlos, one sentence review.
I was gonna say it seems very paranoid, and I like that, and it's that's what I was gonna say. So my one sentence is, I am the most excited for this project of all of the stuff that I've seen. Really, not the stuff that I couldn't see yet, but the stuff that I actually watched. That's the one that I'm like, that looks really good.
Yeah. Randy?
I have to just echo the sentiments, Carlos. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not the most anticipated because that belongs to Werewolf by Night. But yes, that is a really you know, it was really compelling for me, a paranoid thriller for, like, you know, we finally get to see Nick Fury and you know, doing the thing, being like the super spy person, and you know, so I'm really interested in basically how high up the conspiracy of these scrolls will go.
Yeah, for me, it was like the tone of the trailer. There was nothing lighthearted about this trailer at all.
Right.
No.
Did it even crack any jokes in this trailer?
I don't think it did.
Jokes, no quips.
No quips, no jokes. It was like straight up injected into my veins. You can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
You know.
See, if I may explain myself a little bit. So like the who can you trust element of the Secret Invasion is so much fun, just as long as that's paid off with a big, you know, in the comics, it's like, oh, all the heroes are scrolls. So I just don't see, obviously they're not going to be doing that.
Right.
Which that's not what really has me disappointed. I love the Thunderbolts in that. The whole rise of Norman Osborn and the rise of the Thunderbolts, who end up becoming the Dark Avengers. It's just that, so for me, that's the payoff. And I just don't see them doing it. And
yeah, no, I agree with that part. I guess I feel like there were a lot of people who felt like the promise of the scrolls in Captain Marvel like didn't hit them where they wanted it to hit. Like, so this notion that Fury, who's been working with the scrolls for so many years, is now a little bit troubled by the possibility that there's been an infiltration of scrolls that have like this other agenda, and we don't know what this agenda is. Like, the possibilities until we figure out what that is are kind of intriguing, you know, because it could lead to a destabilization of everything. I mean, you know, again, different from the comics, but comparable in the sense that, you know, Fury looked like he was a man without a country, you know, like he looked like he was not the self-assured, cocky, I one step ahead of everything Fury that we normally expect. And if the aftermath of this is that, you know, the hierarchy the hierarchy of power, you know, no, but it's in all seriousness, it's like if we really don't know like all that's been destabilized in the MCU, that is an even greater opening for things like the Thunderbolts and things like Captain America: New World Order. You know,
the ramifications are incredibly promising. Having said that, Marvel doesn't like to deal with ramifications, as we've seen in Winter Soldier. Shield was destabilized, like Shield fell. Then in Age of Ultron, Shield was there to save the day. In Captain America: Civil War, you know, the Sokovia Accords. Where are the Sokovia Accords? Like, they haven't proven to me that they can deal with the fallout, the snap. I mean, personally, I do want them to move on from the snap, but like they haven't explored anything really to its fullest potential.
I agree with that.
I'm just nervous.
Yeah, but there,
like,
but there's there's a Lucy kicking the football element for me where I'm like, but this time, guys, this time
will be different.
They're going to open up a door and then give us the opportunity to explore the ramifications of it,
I will hope for that.
Because what we do know, and I'm going to transition directly, we know now that Secret Invasion and Armor Wars are connected. So we know that whatever happens in Secret Invasion is going to be followed up on by Armor Wars.
Which leads me to, I think Secret Invasion might be where we revisit the idea of Sharon Carter as the power broker.
Perhaps.
Because that might be who she was talking to on the phone at the end of Winter Falcon. Because now that she's infiltrated the higher levels of the American government and has access to all of these weapons and things like that, she may turn out to have been a Skrull, as people had actually predicted back then.
Yeah, which again, we talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again. I of all the people that could be a Skrull, like I don't want Sharon to be a Skrull because it negates the idea of character development for her. That it's like, oh no, she didn't actually go bad. She was a Skrull, like.
Yes, but Marvel does that all the time.
I fully agree, but like I think she's the one character that if she turned out to be a Skrull, people would mind the least. She's one of those characters. It's like when she's on screen, people are like, yeah, she's good. But like when she's off, everyone forgets about her.
Fair. But I guess but the reason, but what you're saying is why I don't want her to be a Skrull, because totally agree. The cost, like I would prefer it be someone that we actually do care that that person's a Skrull, like it's like trying to think of someone like
Val.
Rhodey
being a higher up.
He was,
Rhodey was a Skrull
but also
the
him
whole
being
time.
badly impersonated by the darker Skrull, and nobody noticed because it's the black guy. But yeah, he went from
or like
he's out there saying he's like, I can't wait to put raisins in my potato salad, and no one noticed.
Skrull draft.
Or, oh yeah, I know you're. Or like if it's like Pepper Potts was a Skrull, it's like what?
Start. This is giving me some good fodder. Thank you.
Like Aunt May was a Skrull. What?
Whoa.
It would be cool though, like if like a character, like a side character in all these big, individual franchises did turn out to be like you could do Rhodey for Iron Man, you could do Hank Pym for the Ant-Mans, you can do like
or Hope Van Dyne.
Or Hope. You can do like Melina Bakalova for the Black Widow. Actually, I don't mind that. Melina, is that her name? Bakalova?
The mother that was the I didn't remember her last name, but
Rachel Weisz, the pig torturer.
Yeah,
right. I thought she went by. I think her code name was Iron Maiden, wasn't it? Something like that.
That might have been in the comics, but I don't know, like what she settled on in the movies.
I don't remember her name from the movie. Sorry.
I mean, listen,
Shuri.
Listen, we can go, or Wakabi. Killmonger was a Skrull. But no, I mean, yeah, we could revisit that for sure. We could do our Skrull draft. Secret Invasion's coming out in 2023. We got more than enough time to do a Skrull draft on the racial draft, so stay tuned for that. And like we said before, Armor Wars, TBA, but probably in 2023. Loki season 2 is happening, and like we said, Ki Hu Kwan is going to be joining the cast. Also TBA. A lot of these are TBA. Echo, Alakwa Cox, who we already knew. Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be reprising his role as Wilson Fisk. Devery Jacobs, who you guys might know from Reservation Dogs. Graham Greene, Cody Lightning, and Chaske Spencer. They're going to be part of the cast. And Zahn McClarnon is coming back as Echo's father.
And
Also
Charlie
TV.
Cox, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I think he's coming back. He just wasn't on our list. And of
he
course,
also apparently wasn't on the panel when they brought people out.
Okay.
It was like Vincent D'Onofrio was brought out and then stayed out for Daredevil.
So maybe he won't be. Maybe he's not being billed as part of the cast, but he might show up. Daredevil Born Again, the 18 episode, which already has me hyped.
Yes.
Season. They're starting production in 2023, so maybe it won't come out till 2024. But looking forward to that. Potentially all the directions they could go with that storyline. Obviously, we're going to see Daredevil in the coming weeks on She-Hulk, so more Daredevil. Of course,
they said this is not Daredevil season 4. This is a new thing.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
And Werewolf by Night. Randy, this is a clear out for you. What did you think about Werewolf by Night?
I thought very happy thoughts about this trailer. We have this meeting of hunters gathered in this mysterious place, and they're going after some creature. I mean, obviously, it doesn't appear to me that they're going specifically after the werewolf, and that the werewolf is going to be like, the unexpected twist in their hunt. But yeah, just generally, I am in love with the monster side of Marvel, the horror side of that, and so we are not expecting to get like multiple seasons or multiple movies or whatever, but even if it's just its own isolated thing, I feel like there's a lot they can do. They made a really great first showing. Really, really, really great first showing. That visual dynamicness of it is just is very unique to, it's very set apart from other MCU things. But at the same time, you could easily be like, these characters may potentially show up somewhere else. And so I don't know. It's just I'm here for all of it. Like it's the tone of it and all of that is just, I'm just really happy, really, really excited for
it. Any Carlos? I mean, racial draft rules. Gael Garcia Bernal as Jack Russell. Thoughts?
That famously a Spanish name. Obviously I'm excited for that. I'm interested to see how this fits into the Marvel universe because it looks like a horror movie and it like looks like a horror movie in so much as like the film disintegrated at the end of the trailer. So like, is this a movie in the Marvel universe? Is this a documentary in the Marvel universe? Is this or like, do these characters exist and will they interplay with the rest of the universe? I'm interested.
Genuinely, I feel like because we have Blade lying ahead, I think that they're taking advantage of kind of getting us hyped for like, this is going to be our showcase to let you know that we're not afraid of doing the horror stuff.
Yeah.
And I also at the same time, but also at the same time, like elevating potential characters that could show up later down the line, but they're like kind of lesser known characters. So yes, you could see and not even necessarily jumping straight to Midnight Suns, but like, okay, you got Elsa Bloodstone is there. You got obviously got Jack Russell, you got Man Thing. I believe they also mentioned Jake Gomez as another werewolf. I don't know if that was confirmed, but at least you got Jack Russell there. And then so these are characters who are like, they could obviously be one-off characters, which would suck, but there's the potential there that they can show up elsewhere. Like they're not, it's not like these are characters that for the most part are only good in a team capacity or only good in like a solo capacity. Like there's a lot of potential leading franchises that can branch off from this.
The thing that like kind of threw me off is at the beginning of the trailer, it's like this new title card. It's like Marvel special presentation. I was just like, am I supposed to interpret this differently than I would even like the animated series? Which I now understand, like when I watch an animated series, it takes place in an else world. But am I supposed to, when I see that new title card, am I supposed to go, okay, this means that this isn't technically canon, or this means...
I think it's more about the fact that it's a movie that's not a movie. You know what I mean? That it's a special. Like it's not a show.
Right.
It's not a film in the theaters.
It's a one-time thing that you are not expected to find sequels for.
I just feel like, and I'm definitely reading too much into this, but I just feel like then that would have been something they would have put in front of I Am Groot as well.
Yeah, but I Am Groot was like shorts.
It's
not. It wasn't like one story.
And you have potential to make more of those.
Right.
Like, So if this, go ahead.
Oh, so I was just gonna say, this feels like not all that dissimilar to, kind of like the graphic novels that they used to do, the Marvel Presents.
Okay.
So you got classic God Loves, Man Kills, a story which kind of took place for the X-Men, took place outside of continuity. Until they started incorporating all of the Reverend Stryker stuff. But it kind of feels like it feels like that. It feels like whereas the Disney Plus shows are your regular weekly comics, your movies are the crossovers, these special presentations feel like the graphic novels.
Yeah, and I would take it a step further in the sense that Moon Knight might be the outlier. Moon Knight might be the outlier in the sense that I think we were expecting it to connect to something. And then it kind of didn't. Whereas I think that with this, it might be that they're letting us know that it might connect to something down the line, but it's not meant to connect to something that we've already seen.
All you're getting right now is just them as they're shown. That's it.
Yeah. And I think that from a world building perspective, because it's horror and they really haven't done horror,
right?
That, like you said, later when they do Blade, it will be known that there's this other part of what's been going on.
Gear they can go to.
That hasn't been really explored by any of the other stories up to that point.
You're getting so many of these new horror characters that I feel like it's going to connect to that, so they don't really have to connect it to the Avengers.
Yes.
And that's totally fine. I'm totally fine with that being its own separate. I'm not dying to see Blade on the Avengers. Maybe just besides Moon Knight, I don't think any of those characters need to interact with the other characters.
Right.
It would be fun if they did, but I don't need to see them in Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars.
And the thing is, from a world building perspective, acknowledging that there's this sort of fringe of the universe that doesn't regularly interact with the Avengers, and the Avengers don't even know about, that
That's
that
the
the
way it is in the
mainstream,
comics.
yeah,
That could be your Midnight Suns or your Night
Yeah.
Stalkers or whatever they're gonna do.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like the only character that I would a little bit bristle against, um, being unaware of it would be someone like Doctor Strange or
Dr.
Wong
Strange.
or whatever,
Right.
who's like, yeah, I should probably know about this. It's magical, mystical, other realms of demons and those kind of things. But
Right.
and maybe there's a way to sort of down the line give a nod of like, yeah, that's a thing. But I deal with like bigger threats than that. I know that there's people that are handling that. But if it ever gets to a point where I have to step in, then I will. But I trust
Or
that Blade's doing that.
yeah, I mean, Doctor Strange, obviously, but then also, potentially Jericho Drum. just, just saying. But yes, obviously, you get essentially you get the primer that this is a different thing, and I feel like that was necessary and very much appreciated, just because of like it's a very clear demarcation. They're not giving you the impression at all that it's anything like any of the previous movies or shows.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, we're less than a month away from that, so we'll be able to see it and respond to it. We'll change gears slightly because we're back in the Star Wars world, and Star Wars is doing a lot on TV. So they've got Andor, which is happening in about a week. Kicking off. I thought it was a great trailer for that. I was already on board for Andor, so I'm still on board for Andor. We also got The Mandalorian, which who isn't on board for more Baby Yoda? The Bad Batch, which I did not see a trailer for, and I don't. Oh, we didn't get a trailer for it, but that's happening in January, which gives me time to actually watch The Bad Batch. And then Tales of the Jedi with the aforementioned Young Dooku, also happening in this fall in October. Any
Young
thoughts?
Dooku sounds like a
rapper. Yeah, for sure. Any thoughts about the Lucasfilm stuff before we move on?
No.
All right. And I'm gonna run down these. You guys give me your quick and dirty responses. I feel bad for this one because I know it's a big thing, but we haven't gotten a trailer for it yet. So American Born Chinese. All right.
I know nothing about it.
Zero.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like I said, I know that this is a big project, but we haven't heard anything about it yet, in specifics. But I believe Michelle Yeoh is going to be in it, so here for it.
Cool.
Big Shot, John Stamos hockey, I guess, maybe.
Basketball.
Oh, is it basketball? Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Iwaju, that is the first Pan-African comic collaboration. I think they said a love letter to Lagos, Nigeria. Randy, what are your thoughts about Iwaju?
Has your resident Negro? No, but obviously, like I'm intrigued. I don't know the details of it. I just saw the poster. I believe the graphic they put out. But I believe that somebody said that it would actually not be available in Nigeria itself because like they don't have Disney Plus or something like that.
They need to fix that.
Yeah, like it's a very interesting predicament to be in. But I mean, just the fact that they mentioned that, just on the face of it, I am interested to at least give it a try.
All right. Muppets Mayhem. Any thoughts about that?
Well, as the resident Muppet fan, the Electric Mayhem, the Muppet Band,
got it.
That performance at D23, and As a huge fan of the original Muppet movie, I thought that was fantastic, and I am all for this. Disney does not know what to do with the Muppets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think they need to do Muppet movies that are just remakes of Disney movies, but with the Muppets in the starring roles.
Like I personally, I love the Muppets as well, but the last thing I remember of them doing with the Muppets was like an ABC show, the show that I was so hyped for and like hoping would be so great, and it was like they just tried to do just a typical ABC show, like
Yes.
Muppet. Yeah, I'm like, what in the world?
The Office but Muppets.
The Office.
Right.
Muppet.
I'm like, that was like a terrible call. And I'm not sure if they've done anything with them since then, but
Didn't they do like a
They have.
late night talk show with the Muppets?
So
Elmo had a show.
they did this thing. I actually am a big like I wasn't joking. Like,
Yeah.
Dead seriously, like I do love the Muppets. They did this thing, the Muppets Now, that was like it was like they clearly filmed it over COVID. And
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Little different segments that they would like, sometimes do it like over Zoom and like I like that, like you did miss out on that like key Muppets putting on a show element, but like it was still fun. And then there was the Muppets Haunted Mansion, which was
right.
fine.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I want to see the Muppets Remember the Titans. That's what I want to see.
I suggested
like Muppet John Q.
I want to see Muppets Sleepless in Seattle or Meepless in Seattle with Beaker as a young Meg Ryan.
Nice. Yeah, see, there's so much Muppet gold. Hopefully that goes for
like
National Treasure.
Blue Lagoon.
So yes, National Treasure. There's going to be a National Treasure show. I don't know if it's going to be in the same universe of the National Treasure movies yet, but I did like the trailer. It seemed interesting.
Is it Nick Cage?
Not in the trailer. There's a Latina lead, in fact, in this National Treasure movie. Why am I forgetting the guy's name? The gangster actor.
Not Nick Cage.
No. The give me a second. Oh my God, it's gonna kill me, guys.
What is he in?
He's been in a lot of older gangster movies. It's gonna God, guys,
Gangster. Let's see. Edward James Olmos.
Not that kind of gangster. He's a white guy.
Marlon Brando.
Not
dead for a year.
I refuse to vamp for you. I'm basking in the awkwardness.
What'd you say, Jared?
James Gandolfini.
He's also dead. You guys are not helping at all.
But Madison loves Sopranos, and so we stand James.
James Caan.
Harvey Keitel. Thank you for helping me. So Harvey Keitel is going to be in this National Treasure.
He was in the movies.
Oh, was he? All right. Well, it is in the same universe then.
Yeah,
all right.
He's in the movie.
Thank you for not helping me when I was struggling for this. Anyway, so in the same universe of the movie is this National Treasure thing, which will be dropping in December. There's this movie called Prom Pact. I don't know anything about Prom Pact.
Wait, they're going to let a Latino lead steal American artifacts?
Yes.
It's like, we have to steal the border.
I believe her father was part of whatever group. So she's also learning about her family roots.
So she's Latina, but she's also a daughter of the revolution. Okay.
Yeah.
She's a Gilmore girl, but her first name is Lolita. Got it.
Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. Season 2 will happen in February, of course, February. The Santa Clauses. Apparently, there's going to be an expansion of the Santa Claus franchise, November 16th.
No Tim Allen, right?
Yeah, Tim Allen's going to be back.
So you don't bring back Nick Cage for National Treasure, but you do bring back Tim Allen, who is now problematic for Santa Claus. Great.
I mean, my guess is that as per the parameters of the Santa Claus, I'm guessing that he's going to die, leading to additional Santa Clauses
played by Peyton Manning.
You said like Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
Well, I mean, see, yeah. I would personally be amused. Like you could bring me in to watch this movie, but in theaters, if Tim Allen dies, and then like a group of multinational, multicultural Santa Clauses band together to like lighten the load. And it's
that feels like the premise, guys.
Santa Claus 5 New World Order. Is that what you're saying?
Randy, you're not too far off. As someone who's done one article for this about the Santa Clauses and had to do a lot of research for it, supposedly Cal Penn is now going to be the new Santa Claus. So, you weren't that far off.
Oh, bless.
Cal Penn.
That's hilarious.
All right. Okay. There it is. Thank you, Jared, for weighing in on the Santa Clauses. Pixar is doing a series called Win or Lose. I'm not aware of what that's all about. Zootopia Plus is getting a short form series in November. I guess those are going to be like 10-minute episodes in the Zootopia universe or the Zooniverse. I don't know.
I really liked Zootopia, but they lost their own message midway through that movie, and it's like it's about racism, but then the racism ends up being justified. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Hey, our friends Pentatonics. I love Pentatonics. They're doing a holiday special. Hip Hop Nutcracker, Reverend Run, and hosted by Titus Burgess, Best in Snow. So these are all holiday specials that you can expect on Disney Plus. We're also going to get in the junior categories, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur animated series.
Yay!
For some reason, debuting in February. For some reason.
Wow.
And Under Wraps 2. I didn't even know there was an Under Wraps 1.
Is it spelled with a W?
With a W, yes.
It's a movie about a mummy, isn't it?
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
Well, it's dropping on September 25th, guys.
I was saying, if it was without a W, if it was Under Wraps like rap music, it would have debuted in February.
I think because like my obscure knowledge Rolodex has like that as a thing that pertains to a mummy. Like somehow they resurrect the mummy and shenanigans ensue, as tends to happen.
Sure.
The mummy rap?
I mean,
I just feel like they're leaving that on the table.
I mean, maybe Under Wraps 3 is when we get the rap and mummy.
I think Under Wraps 2, The Streets, is waiting for that. I don't know what they're waiting on.
Yeah. And the final bit of news, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures for Disney Junior premieres in 2023. Don't know if it's canon. That's really important to Star Wars fans. But gotta love that animated Jedi goodness.
Young Jedi? Like how young? Like younglings? Because it didn't end well for them.
I mean, the season finale, the series finale is like Anakin.
As long as the series goes 66 episodes.
like yes, kids, we learned all.
Every episode is called Order 1 or
Order 2. Like we've learned all we can learn, kids, on Order 66, and then Time to go, kids.
We start
I think
getting
we-
like
I think we just
58,
found-
order 59.
I think we just
Some of
found
us are
our
getting
episode
real
title.
nervous.
I think we just found our episode title.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that was our D23 roundup. Any final thoughts about D23 before we depart?
I don't understand why they release trailers for people in attendance, but not for everyone. Like, I get that that's a thing that's happened at Comic-Con and whatever, but like at this point, I just don't understand why you're doing it. If
I mean,
the
I
trailer was
feel
ready
like-
to show to people, then show it.
No, I disagree. I think that in order to preserve the exclusivity of the event for like live people that presumably paying money to go, you want to have some
I guess.
content that
See,
people
they got I Can Do This All Day, a full musical number from Rogers the Musical.
Right. They got the performance stuff. I want to see the substance.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have killed to see that, honestly.
The
I
musical
think-
number.
What, the musical number?
Yeah, I would have.
so the question, here's my question. If they had opened up a like pay-per-view option so that people could watch the live stream of this quote unquote exclusive stuff, like what's the reasonable price point that you would have felt comfortable paying?
Let's see, how long was it on? It was like
It was like
3
2 hours.
4 hours.
Well, let's assume that it's like let's assume that there's like a one price to be able to see anything from the
Well, it's multiple days, so like could
Right.
it be like a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day thing with tiers.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, what do you think would be a reasonable price for
1 day, $20.
and what about for the 3 days? Like
50.
$40? Okay. So
Maybe
here's the
20,
thing.
20,
I
30.
I think that would have been kind of cool, but I also think they would have been killed online. They would have been like, they're price gouging you.
They would've.
Remember the Disney Plus exclusive movies?
Yeah.
Paid the same amount for that. You
And
know?
people complained about it.
Yeah. It was a while ago.
Not me. I was like, this is great.
It's a
I'm
good
saving
deal.
money on this.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's Twitter. So
Yeah. That is it. Whatever MODOK is, it's like the streaming or sorry, the social media platform created only for complaining. Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I mean, if we only have to wait a week before, or 2 before we actually get these trailers in the wild,
mhm.
like I won't be. Too mad.
I can
won't be too
deal
mad.
with that, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
especially because we did get some. Especially because we did get some on the same day.
Mhm.
And Black Panther Wakanda Forever is 2 months away. Like
Yeah.
we're getting another trailer very soon, and Quantumania is 5 months away. They're not gonna release the trailer just. Oh no, they would actually just for
They'll
event-
release it. They'll release it in so that we can watch it when we watch Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know.
After Thor, that was the most recent, or before Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Thor, they released the first trailer in April, and that came out in July. So November to February,
Yeah.
So
I mean,
they
I think
got out
they've
there.
been like pretty inconsistent since the pandemic in terms of like when to release trailers. But I also think that it's okay. I think that people will see certain movies whether a trailer comes out
Yeah.
4 months ahead of time or 1 month ahead of time.
I want to see them do a movie without any marketing. I would go see that. Like, I'm dying to see, just like as an experiment. Like, release.
That's a very expensive experiment.
But they do save a lot of money on marketing.
I think the closest thing we got to that is like the fact that Werewolf by Night, we just got a trailer for it like less than
Comes
a
out in
month.
like 2
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
They could have pulled a Cloverfield if they wanted to.
Yeah, honestly, I could see them doing that for something.
Holiday
Like,
special? That's Guardians of the Galaxy. People know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I could see them doing like a thing where, like, at Comic-Con, they drop a trailer and then it's
Like a
available that
like a
same
Deadpool
weekend.
one shot.
Yeah.
I'm saying like a Deadpool one shot, something that you know is like gonna draw people's eyeballs.
Deadpool
Oh,
would be
sure.
one to do that with.
Yeah,
Not the movie though, not the movie, but like a
Oh,
Disney Plus thing.
yeah.
right.
Yeah. And maybe that's what they'll do
Thing
with
we-
the holiday
yeah.
special.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I think that I feel bad because people got their hopes up for all these Fantastic Four casting things.
Well,
And
not only did they get their hopes up, their hopes were gotten up by a lot of people jabbering, talking nonsense about stuff. Like, I heard that they were gonna release the blah 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 blah.
it was going to be these A-list actors
Yeah.
in the Fantastic Four, but not the Fantastic Four. Yeah, we got to be better about that, people.
Mhm.
You know, unsourced rumors from
Or badly sourced.
Or you know what? Like, don't be better about it, but don't be bitter about it either. Like,
I like that phrase.
you
I might have,
know, like,
I might use that.
yeah, like you know, I thought they were gonna announce the Fantastic Four lineup because it did seem like the Jodie Comer thing at least had legs. But
Pen badge.
I don't care that they didn't really release that yet. Like,
Yeah.
what do I care? The movie doesn't come out for 2 years.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's fair. Like, I don't mind the speculation as long as you couch it in the fact that you're speculating.
Yes.
Right.
But I think that when it gets kind of circulated as it's probably gonna happen,
Right.
you know, I heard that this is gonna happen. That
I will never get over leaving Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. And the person like it was a couple of seats over from me. The person was like, dang, so and so said that Ghost Rider was gonna show up. And I was like, I laughed. I had to like do everything in my power to contain my laughter because it was like, oh, okay. I'm not sure why you thought that was gonna happen, but sure.
The dude next to me in that movie complained to me all throughout the credits why he believed Shuma Gorath should have been the villain of that movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
that's, you know, like I'm all for like having fun with these with the rumors.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes it crosses over from like these are things we're trying to like have fun with into Marvel promised us, and then it's like, did they though?
Exactly. Like y'all know me, I love speculating just like anybody else. And sometimes I might even jump the gun and go a bit too far. But the fact is, at the end of the day, I realize that this stuff is just like me spitballing and kind of hoping that something will happen. And they have like the reality of it is they have a lot more to handle than my little fan brain can kind of comprehend. I don't really know what all goes into their decision making process, and we don't necessarily have access to people who have like sources and stuff like that who you know haven't been on the inside. So, and
we're still talking about things that are happening over 2 years from now.
Right.
Yep.
That's wild, you know, like
by the time I just was about to say, by the time we get like up unto the actual Captain America Sam Wilson movie, I even said this on Twitter. I'm like, by the time we get to that, y'all were like fussing over this New World Order name. That name might not even stick. Because when we first had Agatha Harkness, her show was announced, it was Agatha House of Harkness, was it not? And then now it's like it's Coven of Chaos. And okay, they just abruptly changed the name. Like they're working on this stuff.
By next month it'll be Agatha Witches and shit.
Agatha Hocus Pocus 3. Like that's
Also, Matt Shackman was just brought on.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep.
They're not going to cast his movie for him. I feel like
I feel like they could though if they wanted.
Yeah, they definitely could.
Especially because it's Matt Shackman. Like it's not like they were bringing in Steven Spielberg, right? Like
Right.
They could have been like, hey man, if you want to take this role, these are the actors that we have in mind. Like they could have done that. I'm not saying that they should have done that. I'm just saying that I wouldn't have been appalled if I heard that they did that.
I feel like most of the time they don't do that though. Like, didn't John Watts have a say on Civil War with Tom Holland?
Yeah.
Like,
but this is also a situation where
yeah,
he's replacing a director that they had already, had a relationship with. You know what I mean? So like you can imagine a world in which they had already been working with Watts and developing like what the movie was going to be and who the casting, who was being considered for the casting. And then Shackman comes in and he gets like the final say. But, it's all like a lot of the work's already been done.
I got to remember that this movie's 2 years out, probably a year out from filming. They basically have a little under a year to figure out this cast. They don't need to rush it and announce it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was hilarious that they did like the lineup. They announced the lineup for Thunderbolts. And then when they interviewed the cast, they were like, they have not written a script, guys. We don't know what the fuck this story is. like, we're in it. We're in it. That's great.
I think the only thing that I was like, quote unquote disappointed by was I would have liked if they had announced, because like again we're getting folks who are returning, we're getting folks who are returning as characters. We get Matt Murdock returning, Wilson Fisk, and the folks for the Thunderbolts cast. I would have liked to see at least one new thing in terms of like I guess like maybe who's cast as Wonder Man or something like that. I mean, one thing. Like, for the most part, I felt like it was satisfactory. But if I had one option of a thing that I would have added, that would have been like my one thing.
Well, we did get one new thing, Werewolf by Night. It's just that we all knew about it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the problem. Like we're all in the mix, right? Yeah. We get these rumors, we get these quasi confirmations from the trades, but like this is when when Marvel officially announces these things and says definitely happening, these are definitely the people who are doing the thing, this is definitely when the thing is coming out, or like we're still deciding when the thing is coming out. But like other comic project making people put stories out and then the thing doesn't come out. Like we should remember that we're dealing with people who like to get their ducks in a row before they before they announce it, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I would prefer that over them announcing Wonder Man and then Wonder Man going way of the Cyborg movie or by way of the Green Lantern Corps movie,
Exactly.
New Gods for the DC Black Superman or
Batgirl.
Yeah.
Batgirl.
Oh, So that's where we'll leave it on
a happy note.
On a note of we where we started was making fun of DC, and where we ended was making fun of DC. We like to call that full circle.
Circle of life.
The circle of life. Hopefully, by the next time we have a podcast, we'll know who's in charge of the DC universe and its hierarchy of power. We'll continue to change.
Spoilers, it will be Mephisto.
Oh, wow.
It will have been Agatha all along.
Oh man. Hopefully for the listeners, if you stuck with us for this 3-hour marathon, we'll a couple of days we'll actually have a new episode of Shulkin' and Jivin' for you, as we continue to have fun with the She-Hulk sitcom, and who knows, maybe there'll be another lawyer superhero that pops up. That's what I hear could happen.
I want Madison in the Thunderbolts.
It's not where you think.
Madison is like the intern to Valeria, whatever her name is.
She's our entry point character.
Right.
Ooh. All right. Not mad at it. Not mad at it. Final words before we hit the catchphrase.
I enjoyed our time here. Like, we covered a good breadth of stuff. Some comic related, some not. Sorry for my little foray into Hocus Pocus, but yeah, I feel like we covered it pretty well.
All right. Well, guys, until next time, all things are possible.